What's up, guys? My name's Dave.
And I'm Tommy.
And welcome back to what is so far still the Untitled podcast. What can I say? We are lazy, and yet very busy people. So as is the norm with this sort of thing, is we like to ask you guys a question at the start. And seeing as how we are going to be heavily focused on all the trailers that have dropped this week, and there's been a few. There has been quite a few of them. And they've been heavily in competition as well. So what we want to do is ask you guys, what has been your favourite trailer that has come out this week? And out of that trailer, what was your favourite thing? What did you like? What did you not like? Let us know down below, because we're going to be talking about this quite a lot, and we'd love to get you guys involved. But with that being said, Tommy, hello.
Hello.
Hello. What have you been reading, watching, listening to this week?
Well, I've been reading quite a bit, actually, because I think I mentioned it on the last podcast, but I finally got Marvel Unlimited.
Oh yes,
finally got it. So I haven't actually sat down and read through anything yet. I've just been, where you can search different characters and just read some stuff that they've been in. I've just been flicking through some Quicksilver stuff to get me ready for Age of Ultron, that sort of thing. So I haven't read anything properly yet, but I will be. Let's put it that way. I will be very soon.
Good. And as in regards to myself, I don't think I've read anything this week. I was reading, I said how I went back and I was reading the 2010 run of Avengers. I stopped reading Secret Avengers in the end, as much as I wanted to, because Venom gets introduced into it, but I relegated it just down to Avengers. But I haven't seen anything this week, because like I said just now...
You must have been busy, yeah.
Yeah, I've been kind of busy, and also... There was more pressing matters at hand, and that was because we both were very lucky enough to go to the midnight release of Avengers: Age of Ultron.
Oh yes.
And it was good.
It was all right.
Oh, you need to go see it again for a second time.
I do. I think I must have been tired, but I will go and see it again, and I will talk about it after I see it a second time. But don't worry, there's going to be no spoilers in this here podcast, so don't worry about that for all you Americans who haven't seen it yet, or wherever else you may be from, or even if you just haven't seen it in the UK yet. But yeah.
So obviously that was something I was actually just about to go into, because obviously we went to the midnight release, so it's technically only been out for 19 hours, and that's only in certain parts of Europe, and I know it's not released in America yet. So obviously we're not going to talk about what actually happened during the film. We're not going to drop any spoilers. It is way too soon to be doing that, like we did with Daredevil. So
Uncle Ben dies.
But the what?
Uncle Ben dies.
Uncle Ben? No! That's how Spidey gets introduced to the MCU.
Yeah.
Hulk just crushes Uncle Ben.
It was actually Ultron. He was holding up a little liquor shop and he shot Uncle Ben when he was running out.
He just shoots Uncle Ben. There are no strings on me.
There was a lot of Pinocchio singing though in that film, but yeah.
Yeah, well, what can I say? Disney has to make their mark somehow, don't they? But yeah, we're not gonna spoil anything. We did want to sort of just give our thoughts on how we felt the film was, but we're not going to talk anything about the plot or anything that happens, because it is way too soon to spoil anything. The majority of you probably haven't seen it yet, so we're not going to drop into any spoilers. But Tommy, I think it's a good place to start off with you, because you had mixed thoughts on it.
Well, I'm just going to quickly get up the text that I sent you last night, because we said we'd text as soon as we got out, because we're in different parts of the country, so we saw it in different places. And the text I sent was, don't hate me, I don't think I liked it. I put, jury's still out though, I'll sleep on it. But yeah.
Yeah, I just assumed it was a midnight release, you must have been tired. Like that's the only logical reason.
I really hope so. And then you told me what your favourite scene was. Again, no spoilers. We won't say what it is. And that was my least favourite scene. So I don't know. Maybe I was watching it wrong. Because at the start of Phase 2, I was so worried about the Marvel films, because they straight out the bat in 2013 they gave me two films that I didn't like: Iron Man 3 and Thor 2. And I was oh no, what's happening to this universe? Because I loved Avengers. It's probably my third favourite film. Yeah, in the MCU. And then finally we got Winter Soldier, and I was like, yes, finally they're back on track, ready for Guardians, which I knew was going to be good. But I spoke about that before. so that now I was in a bit of a better place with Marvel. I was a bit more ready for a good film. And I don't know. I think I was just a little bit. I don't think it was overhyped though. I'm just a little bit disappointed. It was too different to what I thought it would be.
Yeah. Well, obviously, I think it was the general consensus with Iron Man 3. A lot of people, I think most people thought that with that whole Mandarin twist,
Oh,
That,
oh, don't.
that was like straight out of an M. Night Shyamalan book. That plot twist. Although it's like they did kind of make up for it. They did a Marvel one shot afterwards.
Yes, All Hail the King.
Yeah.
Just excellent. I loved that.
And so Ben Kingsley actually gets invited to meet the real Mandarin. And you're like, oh, so he is real.
That was very cool.
That was cool. But yeah, see, that's the thing. Is like my opinion on Age of Ultron was complete opposite. I loved it. So far, I'm hailing it as one of my most favorite Marvel films.
Is it your most favourite?
Yeah, I'm not sure if this is just a honeymoon period because I've just seen it.
Cinema fever. It's a real thing.
Yeah, but from the moment that film started, the initial opening scene, I thought this is just like, I thought, as it first started, I was like, this is fantastic, the way they started it. Everything that happened at the start, I was like, this is brilliant. And it just continued to grow from there. It's like, I felt like Age of Ultron was eventually the point they've been building. No, obviously it's not because Infinity War is, but I felt like this was the point they've been building to. Finally, they've got to a point now where they've done enough backstories on like Iron Man 1, 2, 3, Thor 1, 2, Captain America 1 and 2, blah blah blah. That now when they're all together, it just seems natural. It seems like it's not like they're all new and they've just been put together and it's like, oh, it just
Yeah,
you
I
get the
totally agree
feeling.
with that.
Yeah, and obviously they're
And
you say
the
you
whole
don't
world
agree with that.
No, I do agree with that.
Oh, right.
The whole world just felt a lot more lived in. Everyone seemed a lot more familiar with the Avengers. Oh no, sorry, it's not. I almost spoiled something then, but I won't. I'll save that for a bit later on. But yeah, there's a few things that just rubbed me up the wrong way, and now I'm more nervous than ever for Ant-Man.
Oh yeah, definitely. Things like that's something like we've always said is going to be either it's going to be like a Hulk where they pretend it doesn't happen, or it's going to be like a Guardians where it just comes out of nowhere and everyone loves it. So, which is actually one of the trailers we can talk about in a second. But there's one other thing I wanted to say about the Avengers. It's about the fact that I think the actors, I was going to say play together, work together so well.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
they can tell obviously they must spend a lot of time together offset the amount of films they've recorded, but the general dialogue between them when they're not fighting and stuff like that is fantastic, and it seems so
the chemistry
natural.
was so natural, so real. Even between the characters that maybe haven't even integrated before, like with Rhodey and like Captain America, for example,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. It seemed like a really good fit. Yeah.
But there's a lot of stuff I'd love to talk about this, but obviously we don't want to do spoilers. So maybe we might make a separate video just talking about Age of Ultron for those who have seen it, and those can come back to it when they have seen it. But we won't put it in the podcast because obviously it's way too many spoilers. But let's lead on with Ant-Man, with the most recent trailer of Ant-Man, and we can start off the trailers with that.
I
was your
suppose. I suppose that reaction
Yeah,
says a lot for starters. I'm still not sold, but I'm still convinced I'm not sold because I really want Edgar Wright. And did you see? I don't know if you saw this article that came out this week, but was it this week that it came? I think it was, where Joss Whedon came out and said that Edgar Wright was the perfect fit for Ant-Man, and his script for Ant-Man was not only the most perfect Ant-Man script there could be, but it was the most perfect Marvel script that he's ever seen, and that which made me hate the new one even more.
Who is it who's doing the new one then?
Peyton Reed is the guess I'm going to throw out there before I IMDb it, so stall for me a second, Dave.
I actually recognise that name, but I'm not fluent in directors and producers and stuff like you are, so I don't know why I'm recognising that name, but yeah, Peyton Reed, yeah, it is. I've just had a look
Peyton
on
Reed.
IMDb. Peyton
Yeah.
Reed. I've heard that name before. Maybe it's just
Yeah,
like a
he
common
did
name.
like Yes Man and oh, hold on, I should just scroll down. I'm on his IMDb. I was just trying to go off the top of my head, and I realised it's right in front of me. And the Breakup. They're like the two bigger ones that he did.
Alright. He kind of looks like a doctor from ER. I forget his last name. The first name was Mark, but I forget his last name. He was in it from like the very start. Like a tall bald guy. Yeah, he looks just like him. But yeah. So the thing is, I think my thoughts on the trailer, it's kind of like it's the same thing that happens with Avengers and all the Marvel films, is that I'm such a fan of it that I don't think I am capable of seeing the negative. Like even with Iron Man, with the third one, and everyone was like, "What?" I thought, "Oh, that's stupid." Like I thought to myself, they really shouldn't have done that. But I still came out thinking, "Yeah, that was cool. That was all right." And I think I'm such a fan of it that I am incapable of seeing the negative. And I like other bits where people go, "Oh, look, they're only doing that to get people to like it." I watch those bits and go, "Yay, that was so cool!" I think I'm just such a fan. I'm incapable of seeing that stuff. Like I was completely sucked in at the end of that Ant-Man trailer with the Thomas the Tank Engine bit.
Yeah, that's the only
sold it
part
for
of
me.
it. That was the only thing that got a laugh out of me. Oh, another thing got a laugh at me actually. The whole line between Paul Rudd and Michael Douglas about I'm gonna put the whole breaking in somewhere and stealing stuff behind me, and he's like, what do you want me to do? And it's like break in somewhere and steal stuff. That got a laugh at me as well.
Yeah.
But
You see, I saw that bit and instantly thought of you because I thought the second that line was going to come up, you were going to say that was another one of those lines that was like repeating the same joke about like the Ant-Man name and stuff like that. You said you didn't like how
although they did repeat that joke again.
they did. Yep.
Oh, which means it's going to be a recurring joke.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, Marvel. I really want to be surprised. I really do.
I've got faith in it because apparently, I've never read Ant-Man, but apparently, when Scott Lang, it is Scott Lang, isn't it?
Yeah,
Before
Scott
I say
Lang.
that several times and be wrong. But yeah, when it was Lang's run of Ant-Man, apparently it was quite a comical run. Apparently a lot of the writing was very humorous. So I think Paul Rudd might actually be quite a good choice for Ant-Man. Because if it is supposed to be humorous, then you need someone who has a bit of a comedy background. And I think he does a good job of doing the comedy that isn't over the top. Because he does a lot of rom-com style stuff. So
Yeah,
I think he does a good of playing that subtle comedy, the awkward comedy.
Yeah,
So-
no, I do think he's great casting, but I also thought it was great casting when Edgar Wright was on board, so that's probably the only reason I like that.
But then you're also a massive Edgar Wright fan. But...
I am. I'm looking at my signed Edgar Wright poster right now, so just putting it out there, world.
I remember you queuing up for that.
Yep, and I got a Cornetto rapper signed by him too.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I'm such a huge fan of his. I'm so gutted,
You were in that queue for so long as well.
and it was worth every second. Oh,
I bet. Just like when I met Mark Meer.
yeah. That was the same day, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was a good damn day.
That was a good day, yeah.
Were your knees shaking as much as mine were?
Yes, of course they were. It's Edgar Wright.
I could barely look him in the eye because I didn't want to start whimpering.
Whimpering. Oh.
Yeah, I was just like, Mark!
We were like first in line for Mark. We didn't have to wait long at all, did we?
Yeah, because we got there and we thought, is he actually doing this now? Because there was no queue.
Yeah.
And then like he sat down, we're like, holy hell, we just got here
We
at
are
the
the queue.
perfect time. I've
Yeah.
never been at the start of a queue before.
And he
But,
remembered me as well from Geek Space. That was cool.
Yeah, that was pretty sick. But yeah, getting back to Ant-Man. I didn't even realise that was Yellow Jacket in the trailer. I can be so dense sometimes.
I thought he looked really cool. It's one of my favourite looking villains in any of the MCU. So there you go. There's a compliment for you, Ant-Man. Take that.
Yeah.
Take that to the bank.
But that's the thing. Is like, as you say, like that's why I kind of like this perspective between me and you, because you're very into
Cynical.
films. Well, yeah, to a certain extent. But like, I'm cynical about a lot of things. But for some reason, I've just have these blinders on when it comes to Marvel movies. I just love everything about them. I don't know why. I just can't not like them, and that's what I like, because you can still. Not only are you into film and cinema quite a lot anyway, but you can look at the negative aspects and you can look at the directors and the casting and all this stuff that I don't know about like Joss Whedon saying about Edgar Wright, and see that's kind of cool. So you can get a nice like perspective from both sides of it.
Yeah.
So that's what I kind of like about it. But I'm looking forward to it. But as I say, I look forward to any of this sort of stuff. But yeah. So anyway, what was some of the other trailers we had come out this week?
Let's build up to the one I really want to talk about, if you don't mind. Let's talk about while we're talking about Marvel. Let's talk about the Fox Marvel and the Fantastic Four trailer, or as I'm going to call it because they've branded it really horribly, the Fant Four Stick trailer.
Fantastic.
I'm going to call it that until it's released, or until they change that logo, because it is stupid.
Until just in case anyone doesn't understand what Tommy's on about, it's they've got the four. What is it replacing one of the A's? Is it?
It's replacing the A in the middle, so it's literally FANT, the number 4, and then STIC. So it just says Fant Four Stick. It's stupid.
Yeah, so the title aside, the title of the artwork aside, what did you think of the trailer, and how do you think how do you think the film's going to progress?
Oh, I hated the trailer. I thought it was terrible.
Really?
Did you like it?
No. See, this is thinking. It must just be Marvel Studios I've got my blinders on about, because I still get skeptical about Fox. But then who doesn't get skeptical about Fox?
I will say, Doom looked terrifying, and I think it was on the podcast last week that I spoke about how much I hated that he was just going to be some blogger or some hacktivist or whatever.
Yeah.
But he seemed to be heavily involved in the science. He seemed to be heavily with the crew. And then when he was Doom, he looked like Doom and he looked terrifying. So I'll take back everything I said about that. But the rest of it looked like Prometheus with teenagers, and it just looked a little bit too pretentious for itself. It didn't feel like the Fantastic Four, and it didn't feel like it was going to be any fun.
We think that's exactly it. I think you just hit the nail on the head. It doesn't feel like Fantastic Four, and it doesn't look like it's going to be fun. And I think they are two of the very good points. Because having said, obviously, to preface this, I haven't read the ultimate version of Fantastic Four, which is what they seem to be heavily following, not only in Fantastic Four, but with a lot of other things, like with regards to the Marvel Cinematic Universe as well. They seem to be following a lot of stuff that happened in Ultimate, a lot of stuff that happened in 616, and just sort of merging the two together. But yeah, bear in mind I haven't read that. They're following quite a lot by the fact they're young. They go into the negative zone. That's how they're getting their powers and stuff like that. So that's quite cool. But the one issue is they look like they're trying to go like a really dark and gritty route with it. And that's never been Fantastic Four.
I think that's just because the director's Josh Trank. Did you see Chronicle?
Yes.
Yeah, which is excellent. One of my favourite films of 2012 is my guess that I'm putting out there. I'm stalling again for IMDb. Yes, 2012. And which I loved. I thought it was great, and I'm ready for him to do a Star Wars film, which he is signed on to do. So I'm ready for that. But I don't think it fits in the Fantastic Four world. I think it just needs to be a little bit more. The way X-Men, the tone X-Men First Class had, I think that's where it needs to be. It's very serious, but it's still a bit fun. You know, a bit light-hearted, a bit of colour in it. You know, every poster's just like black or dark blue. That's all it is. I don't like the look of the Thing either. I think it's too wide.
Yeah, that's the thing. They're trying to make him look too monstrous. And as much as people always say the first Fantastic Four film was really goofy and jokey, and that, in my mind, was actually more accurate to the Fantastic Four. Now, don't get me wrong, Reed and to a certain extent Sue are normally quite serious in what they're doing. Mainly Sue's serious because of Reed. But Johnny and the Thing are just bickering 24/7. That is all they do. It's just... I hate to use this word, but banter back and forth between them constantly. And like, Thing tries to be serious. He's just like a normal guy basically from was it Yancey Street? I believe he comes from.
I'm not sure.
And he's just like your normal Joe Blogs kind of guy. And then you got Johnny Storm, who's constantly just on his case, just winding him up. And like the sort of like the love-hate relationship between them is beautiful sometimes. The way that they are always arguing, but then when it comes down to it, like. The Thing, like Ben Grimm, will literally go ape if someone tries to hurt like Human Torch. So it's almost like a big brother little brother kind of relationship.
Yeah,
between
definitely.
It's really good. And I'm looking at this, and even the Human Torch, there was not like one point with him looking like the young, other than the fact that he drove a fast car. There was not one bit in the trailer that made it look like he was this young prankster. That he looked almost like the young guy who's really serious and has got his head like screwed on straight.
And don't get me wrong, I love Michael B. Jordan. I think he's excellent. He was great in Chronicle. He's one of the guys that I throw out there for a lot of casting when everyone's talking about, you know, who should be this, who should be that. Michael B. Jordan's always high up on that list now because he's going to be in Creed later this year, which I'm very excited for because of him in it. And he is he's becoming a bit of a draw for a lot of cinema goers. So I'm interested to see what he does in this because at the moment all I'm seeing is disappointment.
Yeah. And that's the thing, is like when you said about that, it's like none of this is what I'm saying is against the actors. Like, I think the casting.
The cast is so good.
Yeah, like the casting for the Thing as well. I think he's not a choice I would have picked, but I'm really liking him.
Yeah,
I think he's got
Billy Elliot, isn't it? Jamie Bell.
Yeah, and I think I can't remember. I was watching an interview of somebody. I can't remember who it was, and they said that he was casted mainly because he is the Thing. Like they said, this isn't acting tough. They said like that's just who he is. That's just his base persona. He is like that kind of guy. And I thought that's what was quite cool about it. But as you said, like the way the Thing looks and stuff like that, it's just he looks cool. I'm not gonna say he doesn't look cool. He does look awesome, but he doesn't look like the Thing. He looks like a rock monster. Yeah, and I know that's what the Thing is to a certain extent, but the thing is that even in modern comics, he's never made to look like this really horrible. He's still always kind of round and just I'm the Thing, you know. It's like he's always looked friendly at the same time.
Yeah, he looks like in this he looks like what are they called, like a Skylanders figure or something. He just looks like a kid's toy. Like the way they proportioned him and stuff like that, it doesn't look like it would function in like a real world. I don't know how well I'm going to believe him in an environment. I don't even think I'm going to see this at the cinema. I think I'm going to wait for it to be on home release because
I don't
want to encourage it.
Oh, I'm definitely going to watch it at the cinema because the fact of the matter is I just don't see how I can't. Like, the more superhero movies in the year, the happier I am.
I think I'm not going to see Ant-Man as well. I'm really leaning that way.
Oh, don't be that guy. Come on.
Dude, I've really liked Edgar Wright.
just do it for the Paul Rudd love. Just
I'd do it for the Paul Rudd love. But I'm not sold on Fantastic Four. I'm really not.
No.
I'll wait for maybe one more trailer because this film comes out soon. August, 7th of August, which isn't actually that soon. It's April, but
what, Fantastic Four?
yeah, Fantastic Four stick.
Do you know, I have no idea when that comes out. Absolutely no idea.
I think it's in August sometime. So I want another trailer yet before I decide for sure.
Yeah. The thing is, I think as a film, like if I'm not thinking about it as Fantastic Four and I'm just thinking about it as a film, I think I'll enjoy it. Like despite of what everything I said, I think I'm probably going to enjoy the film, but I don't think it's going to be a good Fantastic Four film.
Yeah, it's going to be like a cool, gritty chronicle, but not with found footage. Like that's the way I'd like to see it. But then every time I hear him say, Reed or Ben, I'm gonna just think to Fantastic Four, and I'm like, this isn't okay. This isn't it.
Yeah, and it's I tried a point. I've lost it again. This is gonna be a recurring theme. This is. Oh yeah, that was it. It's gonna be one of those films where you watch it and then you come out and you'll be like, that was a good film, but that's it. That's the impact it has on you. All of that would just.
I
be
hope
like,
not,
because
that means I like it slightly more than Age of Ultron. I came out of Age of Ultron like, oh no. It wasn't even like I was angry. I was honestly just disappointed, but not in the film, in myself. I was like, what's wrong with me? Why didn't I enjoy that?
I can't believe that's your opinion of it. It's so polar opposites. I think it's the best Marvel film thus far. I just left and I was just like, I was like, oh, it's so good. If I could talk about what actually happens, I could express why I loved it so much. But
I think we definitely have to do like a little spoiler cast now.
Yeah, like after the podcast or something.
Yeah,
that's kind of cool. But as we were saying, like Fantastic Four, I think it's gonna be a good film. I just don't think it's gonna be a good Fantastic Four film. So.
I'm so upset. And just change the logo, guys. Fant Four Stick. That's what I'm reading that as. Fant Four Stick. Oh.
Do you know, maybe I should actually quickly at some point read some Ultimate Fantastic Four, because for all I know, maybe the Ultimate version of their characters are like this.
And maybe they're actually called the Fant Four Stick, and they're not called Fantastic Four at all. We could just be like insulting a lot of die-hard Fant Four Stick fans. So
yeah. Maybe that's why they get killed in the Ultimate Universe, because they're too Fant Four Stick.
I've got another trailer that came out this week that I know you'll love to talk about. Jurassic World.
Dun, 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 dun.
Although they didn't actually play that in this trailer, did they?
Yeah, which worries me.
I think this is the first trailer that didn't play the old John Williams theme. So, but what did you think of it as a whole?
Well, I just said like it worries me as a joke, but that's actually kind of true a little bit. The fact they didn't play that makes me like that's not the reason why I'm thinking, but that just kind of sort of just like built up my thoughts on the trailer. The fact they didn't play that music as well is that I'm gonna watch the film, and I think I'm obviously gonna like it because it's Jurassic Park, it's dinosaurs, and it's Chris Pratt as well. So how can you not like it? But my thought on this, and it's been my thought since I first found out there's going to be a genetically altered dinosaur, is that this is like one of those films where there was a cult classic or like this iconic film, and then a decade later, which is pretty much exactly what's happening, is they release it again, yet it has nothing that feels like the original. It's the same plot, like a park and the dinosaurs get out and they're trying to save the day, and it's the same sort of thing, but it doesn't feel anything like the original three. Because even like whether you like the second or the third one, it still felt like Jurassic Park. Whether you liked the film or not, it still had that same kind of feel to it. I've got a feeling this is going to be like a big Hollywood blockbuster, and it's just...
Did you think...
I don't know, not have that feel to it.
Did you think that CGI dinosaurs look worse than the... what are they called? Animatronics from the first Jurassic Park? Because I saw a picture of a side-by-side of like two dinosaurs, and it honestly looked better in like 1993.
Really?
How are they stepping backwards? Yeah.
I don't know.
And also from the trailer, I feel like I've seen it now. I feel like they showed me the whole film.
Yeah. The trailers, I think, are doing that more and more these days.
And it's terrible. It's the worst thing. I had to stop myself from watching Age of Ultron trailers eventually because they just started showing so much.
Yeah, Marvel just started putting up clips. They put up. Obviously, I don't want to say it if anyone hasn't seen the clips. I don't want to spoil it. But they put up fight scenes between certain characters. They put whole monologues up. And it's like, man, if you place these in the right order, you've got the synopsis of the film here.
But, yeah, it's the same. Like, a lot of trailers are like that nowadays. Like I don't know if to talk about the Southpaw trailer gave me the whole film. I've seen. I might not even see that film now just because I've seen the end of it.
Oh, I haven't seen. I don't think I've even heard of that film.
It's a boxing drama film with Jake Gyllenhaal.
Oh, that's not the one with Mark Ruffalo in, is it?
No,
No.
you're thinking of Foxcatcher, the wrestling one from last year,
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of.
which is actually a pretty good film.
I thought it looked pretty decent.
Yeah, a lot of Oscar buzz that one. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not feeling this Jurassic World. Like I was from every other trailer. I was so ready for it, and this one. Okay, let me be clear. A lot of points in it got me really really excited, and gave me goosebumps. I was ready to see the world again. I'm liking Chris Pratt's character more now that he's got a bit more of a personality behind him. But I don't know. They didn't play the John Williams, which actually, yeah, it does worry me. What they showed me a lot, maybe too much, and again, it for me, I think it looked better in '93 with Jurassic Park rather than Jurassic World. But
Yeah. One of the thoughts I had on it when I first saw it, it's like there's a few things like it's weird because my girlfriend had the exact opposite reaction to it, but maybe it's because we're more into films and just like media in general. Whereas if you're not a fan of it and you just watch films casually and you've got absolutely no interest in them, it might be something you like. But I thought there was a scene where it looked like he was training the Velociraptors.
yeah,
And I was like, what? Like, I remember seeing the clip before where he was riding alongside them, and I was like, please do not tell me he has them as pets, as this is just going to be the goofiest piece of crap ever. But I know it's not really like he's training them. It's more he's sort of like learning their language, like he's learning how to communicate with them, like we do with like a dog or something like that. Whereas you don't shout sit at it loads of time. It's more the body language of how you're standing, and so I guess it's more in that aspect. But it just, I don't know. I've just got the feeling there is going to be a scene near the end where the dinosaurs and the humans are working together to beat their foe, and I really don't. I really hope it doesn't happen. Why the American flag falls down in front of them, or something like that. But I really hope it doesn't happen that way. It's just I get the feeling this is like we've took your idea and now we're making a blockbuster out of it, and it's just I get the feeling it's going to not feel like Jurassic Park at all. But
I really hope we're wrong. I really do. I really like the concept behind the film. The park's actually open now, that sort of thing.
yeah, do you know what it feels like to me? Alien or a Predator film.
Right. Okay.
Like the fact
okay.
where it's like what did it
tell you
do?
what it
What did
is.
it do to
I've
its
got-
mate? It killed it. And it's like it's hunting for sport now, and it's like now you're going up against this really super smart, intelligent being. It's
And
not a dinosaur film. It's more like an alien film.
And there was one scene as well when the guy's in a jungle, a bit of blood drips on his hand, and he looks up, and I thought I'd stopped watching the trailer and started watching the first Predator film because that looked exactly like it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would agree with that 100%.
And have you noticed how in all the clips they've made a point of not showing the actual head or the upper body? Like at one point I saw some tiny like T-Rex kind of arms come down when he went to bite that guy, and like you've seen it run, but you've never seen the full shot of the monster, have you?
Yeah, I liked that a lot. I was saying as the trailer was, I watched it for the first time, and I was saying like, I hope I don't see the whole thing because that will, yeah, I might not see it then because it gives it away. I want it to be,
Yeah. Well, it's like with any horror film. The second you see the killer, he's not scary anymore.
Yeah, it's like Jaws. You don't see Jaws like hardly at all in Jaws, but you don't see the shark until like 40 minutes into the film, and it's only a glimpse. And yeah, it's scarier what you don't see. So don't show us everything.
Yeah.
Because I want to be scared. I'd love to be scared for a
Yeah,
Jurassic World film.
Because if you're going throughout the whole film, it's like there's this like let's just call it a monster. 'Cause let's face it, it's not a dinosaur
Yeah,
film. It's
okay,
really of a human dinosaur monster film. That's what it's become now. It's like a hybrid. Well, that's exactly what it is. But it's scarier if they're going throughout the whole film and this thing is taking down like T-Rexes and like other like humans and other big dinosaurs. It's scarier. The second you see it running along, it's not scary anymore.
No.
So I think the longer they keep it off camera, maybe obviously there, but if then they go too long, like if they did like a Godzilla where it's barely in the film, then it could be goofy as well.
I guess we'll have to. I really want to keep an open mind with it because the first couple of teasers and trailers and whatnot got me excited. So I'm hoping this was just maybe badly cut or whatever. Because let's face it, there's so many good trailers out there for bad films and vice versa. So
Yeah, I did actually hear a theory a little while ago, and obviously this is just like I think I was watching like another video or something like that, and it was just basically their theory that they came up with an idea, like a speculation that what if this film is like a Dawn of the Planet of the Apes kind of thing, like where this is where the dinosaurs break out and take over the rest of the world.
Oh God.
And like this is like the opening thing, like they're trying to turn Jurassic Park into like a Planet of the Apes kind of thing. Where they're gonna make a Jurassic Park 5, and with that the dinosaurs now run like rampant all over the world.
Yeah.
And it's like, what if that's what this is? Because like you see loads of scenes of like helicopters crashing, and then all like the pterodactyls or pterodactyls or whatever they were get out, and then the sea creatures eating it, and you know that sea creature is gonna break out at some point, and
Yeah.
because I thought that was what was gonna happen at the end of either the first Jurassic Park or the second one. Because you see all the flight, or maybe it's the third one, where you see them flying out into the ocean. So you're thinking they're going to another island, to another country. So I'm surprised.
Oh,
I'm surprised something hasn't done that already. Although I'm really hoping there's a backstory as to why the park is now open. Because like,
yeah,
it wasn't
I hope they explain that.
yeah, because wasn't that the whole point of the last three films of no, you shouldn't do this? Wasn't that the whole point? Like,
And now it's not like, okay, we're doing it again. It's like, nope, we've done it. It's been done. It's happened. Past tense. It's like, oh, okay. So I'm hoping they give us some explaining. I'll take a montage if they want to throw a montage at me for exposition.
what kind of like Watchmen style at the start?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great opening.
Yeah. There's a picture of Dr. Grant with an alcohol bottle, just like he goes into a drunken stupor because nobody will actually listen to him.
All the times they are changing. Yeah, it'd be great.
Oh, anyway, let's move this one. What else did we have? There was so many this week.
Let's go a little bit less geeky with this one. I mean, it's still a little bit geeky, I guess. But it's a film I'm really excited for. That's Tomorrowland. Did you see this trailer?
Yes, just recently actually. I'd heard nothing about it until I saw the trailer.
Oh, had you not? I've been following this film for a long time now. Because Brad Bird was my first and number one choice to direct Star Wars Episode 7 when they announced Disney were doing it. He directed, for those that don't know, The Incredibles. And he did Ratatouille. And he did... What was the live action one? What's the newest Mission Impossible? Ghost Protocol?
Yes. There's a fourth one. Is it coming out or has it already come out?
No, I think that is the fourth one.
Is it?
Is it not? Yeah, the fifth one's Rogue Nation.
Oh, okay. Yes, that must be the fourth one then. So,
yeah, he did that anyway. And I really wanted him to do Star Wars, but he said he couldn't do it because he's working on some other film. That other film turned out to be Tomorrowland, so I've been kind of following it since late 2012, I guess. So
Yeah.
I've been pretty excited for this one. I really like the look of the cast. Britt Robertson, I think she's going to be a big up and comer. I think you're going to hear her name a lot in the next few years. She's going to be like the new, don't quote me on this, but like, not the new Jennifer Lawrence, but that kind of, she can have that kind of explosion, I think.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah.
Like, let's face it, because she's the biggest up and coming
Yeah.
young female star. So
I think the Jennifer Lawrence career that we've seen between 2012 and now, which 2012 is like the first Hunger Games, X-Men First Class, that sort of thing,
Yeah.
and now is going to be what we see between now and like 2018 or whatever with Britt Robertson. So this is going to be our first big franchise film, not franchise, but her first big major film from Disney Studios, from a big director, George Clooney as a co-star.
I was just about to say that. Yeah, starring alongside George Clooney can do nothing but help. So
Yeah, exactly, and it's written by Damon Lindelof as well, who wrote like Lost and stuff like that. He wrote Prometheus, Star Trek Into Darkness. So he's a pretty decent writer, and yeah, pretty decent cast, decent director. And what did you think of the trailer?
I liked it. Well, bear in mind, obviously, you've been following it for a while. I knew nothing about it. It just popped up, and I was like, oh yeah, I'll watch this. Why not? And I thought it was cool. Like, so I had no idea what the story was about. I had no idea where it was going. So the trailer was everything I've seen. And I thought it looked kind of fun. Like,
And it didn't give you any major plot stuff, did it?
No, other than the fact that you know how they really escape from his house, that's pretty much all you get. Like that's going to be in the first 20 minutes of the film anyway.
Yeah.
So like the rest of the film, all you really know is that she's traveling to another dimension, or is it the future? It's the future, isn't it?
Oh, we'll have to wait and see, won't we?
Well, I'm guessing it's Tomorrowland. I guessed the future, but I kind of liked the idea of when in the trailer how when she touches this, is it like a pin, like a badge?
Yeah.
That she travels to this place, but she doesn't travel there. She's still in the real world. So if she walks around, she's walking around in the real world still. So it's like if she's, say, like she wants to go in a shop in this place that she's travelled to, she can't just run in there and do whatever the hell she likes because she's still moving in the real world as well. I thought that was a really cool idea. I like that.
Should have to get one of them Omni treadmill things where you can walk in any direction.
Oh, what do you mean, like with the virtual reality headsets?
Yeah,
where you've got
yeah.
the waistband around you. Easy, there
Yes,
you go.
yeah.
You've just
Cracked
you've just destroyed the concept of the film. When she's like, "Oh, I can't do this, I can't do that," you're just like, "Sorted. I've got it sorted."
Yeah, $200 sorted, done.
Yeah. She's looking at you like, "How are you doing this?"
Yeah, I won't linger too much on that trailer. Just know that I'm very, very excited. I think it's gonna be one of those films that when the career of Brad Bird's kicked up, when Britt Robertson's kicked up, it's gonna be one of those films where people go back to it later and like, oh, I might revisit that. That's pretty good. Like Stardust. I feel like that happened with Stardust.
Oh, that was a great film.
Like, I loved that film straight at the cinema.
Yeah.
But that's Matthew Vaughn. When his career kicked up, people went back to it. And now Charlie Cox is in Daredevil. People have gone back to it. You know, Mark Strong's in there. Henry Cavill, who's Superman's in there. It's got a lot of great people in it. And it was kind of, you know, went under the radar a little bit, I guess, in 2007 or 8, whenever that film came out.
That was such a good film, though.
Yeah, I loved it. Loved it.
I think I downloaded that Take That song purely for that one reason. Like, I've never owned a Take That song in my entire life. My sister loved Take That when they were first about, and I hated them for that reason because she wouldn't stop listening to them. But the second Stardust finished, and it was just like, "You lied," I was like, "Download straight away." I was like, "I need this song in my life just to remind me of Stardust."
Yeah, that's
a good film.
If you haven't seen that film, please check it out. But yeah, I think Tomorrowland's going to be the next Stardust. That's where I'm putting on this one.
See, for everyone else, that might not be like a big shout, but for us, that's a big thing. That's the next Stardust, really.
Well, I'm just saying, Robert De Niro's in that film as a gay pirate. So if that's not sold it to you enough,
He does it so well.
then you need to watch it right now.
Yeah.
That's like I'm talking about the guy from Taxi Driver and The Godfather Part 2 and The Goodfellas. That guy. Yeah. Anyway.
But he does it well, as opposed to Dwayne Johnson being a tooth fairy. Like, he actually does it well.
Oh god.
I love Dwayne. I'm just joking.
Dear. Yeah, so do I. I love Dwayne.
Yeah. Next thing you'll be saying it's going to be the next Charmed. You wouldn't go that far, would you?
Oh, careful there. You're going to reveal us again. People might forget that we watched Charmed, and then you're going to keep reminding them.
Things I watched that show like any time as an adult, and I was like, "Dude, what were you doing? You've wasted so much of your life." No, I miss Alyssa Milano. If you can hear me, I love you.
Yeah, she's heard us before, dude. She's heard us before.
Yeah, she has. But anyway, what was the other one? Because I know there's one you really want to talk about.
Oh no, we'll get to that right at the end. But let's go a bit more geeky right now. Let's go to Batman v Superman.
Oh, of course. Oh yeah, how have we not spoke about this already? I think we touched on it like briefly at the end of the last week's.
Yeah, well, and that trailer was just a shot of a suit, a shot of another suit, and then a logo.
Yeah. Oh, of course. Yeah.
But the score is what was really interesting to me. Yeah. And did we talk last week about how the trailer might have been released? Did we talk about that, or did that come out after as well?
I honestly have no idea.
I'm trying to think. Oh, we should probably get better at learning what happened and when.
Talk about it anyway, because obviously we're talking about the trailer now. So.
Okay. So basically, El Mayimbe, a big scoop dropper from Latino Review, announced that, and I'm sure we'll actually talk about him later in this episode as well. Actually, announced that Zack Snyder would be releasing on his Twitter a quick glimpse of this Batman v Superman trailer, and about an hour before Star Wars Celebration, which was Thursday to Sunday last weekend at Anaheim in California. So he announced he was going to drop a tease, like a 20-second tease of the trailer then, and then the whole thing like a day later or something, or on the Monday. No, it was the Monday. The whole thing was going to come out on the Monday, and you'd be able to get tickets to see it in IMAX. Once that rumor got dropped, the trailer, the teaser did, like instantly. Then the whole trailer got leaked. Then they were forced to put the whole trailer out early anyway. So their whole plan kind of went to, didn't work.
Where they were going to get people to go watch the trailer in an IMAX, now everyone just got to watch it on YouTube instead. So.
Yeah, and that's not nothing to do with El Mayimbe. He just reported what would happen. It was actually some people that recorded the trailer on their like phones or whatever in some Spanish-speaking country because it was subtitled. But that, to me, in my opinion, is Warner Brothers' fault. If you're putting a trailer out there and you're letting people film it, or you're not working hard enough to stop people filming it, then
Yeah.
they're doing their job wrong. So
Yes, like if you've just invited people to the IMAX and like say here, like you got a special preview of our trailer. You've seen this before anyone else. One that's not exactly like there's like hundreds of people in that cinema. Like it's going to be a small cinema, enough for security to watch everyone as they're watching it. How would you not notice someone with their phone out
yeah,
recording?
it's unbelievable in this day and age.
I mean, if that was me, I would have confiscated phones at the start. Like I would have said, like, yeah, you get a locker and a key, you put all your stuff in there, and now you come in and see the film. Like,
And so much money goes into marketing, and this sort of thing damages it. They
Yeah.
had a whole strategy, because it is a strategy. You have a whole team for marketing, and they'll sit there and they'll hash out a strategy for, you know, when are we going to release the title? When are we going to release this poster? When are we going to release that poster? When are we going to tweet this, that, the other? So of course the trailer's a big part of that. So of course Zack Snyder releasing 20 seconds on his Twitter before the Star Wars panel, which was heavily rumored to release a trailer, which again I'm sure we'll talk about very very soon.
yeah.
Of course it was like such a significant hit to DC and Warner Brothers when this trailer leaked like that. So yeah, it must have cost them fortunes, because the money that goes into marketing's probably a little under half of the budget as a whole. That's how much is spent on it. It's so expensive, and it's just crippled them because they were too stupid or too excited. I'm not too sure which. Maybe a little bit of both. But that being said, the trailer's out. It's all official now. What did you think of it?
Well, I was going to say, just for like moving on to that, I think part of it is also the blame is on the fans. Because I think the amount, you're never going to stop this sort of thing from happening. But I think the amount of times that fans do stuff like this, like when they leaked the Deadpool script, which put that back several years, didn't they? And then when like they record stuff on their phones just so they can get loads of hits on YouTube by uploading it and stuff like that. I get why they're doing it to a certain extent, but it bugs me. It's like if you are a fan, enough of a fan to go.
Ew.
To go.
Ew. Where are we going?
What happened there, man? Oh my! But like, if you're a big enough fan to go to like a preview or screening or something like that, I don't get why you would want to then do that to the company that you clearly love. Not the company, but the franchise that you clearly love. I don't understand why people want to hack and release stuff and get trailers out early and stuff like that, because you're just ruining the process of the thing that you love. If you see what I mean.
Listen, I've been to a few of these like early screening stuff like that. I went to one for like the Lego Movie, for example, and I don't think one person in that room would have even dared record it, just because of the love that was in there. There was so much passion and joy behind it. Everyone was having like a riot of a time. I don't think anyone in there would have wanted to do that. That's why I find it hard to imagine it when it ever does happen, because who is that person that's doing that? It's unbelievable. By the way, while you brought that up, did you read the Deadpool script?
No, I just heard about it. I think I heard about it a long time after it happened.
Oh, it's good. I've read it. It's really good.
Yeah, it's a shame. I have no idea what was supposed to happen in it. I just heard it was very, very good.
I know for a fact that it's definitely changed now. That script came out in 2010, and there's a joke that would have been fine in it before, but now it's just very tasteless. It's about Amy Winehouse. So yeah, it's not even just a joke. It's a recurring joke like throughout the whole script.
Yeah.
So I guess.
But then
I'm hoping that's been removed. Oh my god, I'm hoping.
Obviously, I don't know what the joke is, but I can take an educated guess. But then, I was gonna say, it's not like it was something that happened to her. She kind of did it to herself. But I think that's opening up another can of worms that maybe I shouldn't go down.
Yeah,
let's
not
naive
touch on
talking
that.
about that sort of thing when you haven't experienced it. So.
Well, no, actually, while we're on the topic of it, there's a new documentary that's come out recently called Amy. So it's about Amy Winehouse. Obviously, I'm not just segueing on the name Amy.
Yeah.
But it's actually looking really good, and it's getting a lot of good early buzz. So, yeah, check that out if you like Amy Winehouse or good documentaries.
Well, I will leave that one to you, Tommy, because I didn't like her when she was alive. So I hated her. Well, I hated a strong word. I didn't like her.
And you mean every syllable of it?
Oh, she rubbed me the wrong way.
She won 6 Grammys, man. She was an impressive musician. I mean, her life choices weren't.
Yeah, exactly.
Anything to live by, but
yeah, I didn't like. I think she just inspired a generation of douchebags. I think she really did. Like, not her music. Musically, God, she was talented.
Yeah, she
But
really was.
just her as a person, I think because people loved her music. Not obviously, this is not everyone. Like when I say stuff like this isn't like a general thing I'm saying about everyone. But the amount of people that probably loved her so much, they started acting like her, and not just with the drugs, but the way she walked around looking like she was like the Queen of Sheba or whatever. I don't know.
No, you're right. But
Anyway, let's go back to Superman.
yeah, I suppose that's more exciting than talking about a documentary about Amy Winehouse. Yeah. So yeah, what did you think of it? Did you like it?
Well, yeah, it's like at first, like my initial gut feeling when I first watched it was I didn't think much. It was really stupid. Straight away, I sort of slapped myself on the wrist for it. But I was like, oh, not much really happened in that. And then I thought to myself, well, hold on, it's like a trailer. It's like a teaser trailer. It's not even it wasn't even a full trailer yet, was it?
No.
Is it still defined as a teaser so far?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm hating this whole trend of teasers and
trailers.
teasers for trailers,
Yeah.
and then teasers for teasers of trailers. And,
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
They put up a trailer saying in one day the trailer's going to be released. It's
And
like,
then,
what?
and then, yeah, that Ant-Man did that, didn't they?
Yeah.
They brought out a trailer saying Ant-Man trailer coming tomorrow. I was like, are you serious?
Yeah. It's ridiculous. But
it's
that,
unbearable.
that was my first thought. And then I thought to myself, well, hold up. Like, the first thing I always complain about is they show too much in the trailer. So that's a good thing. And at the same time, it wasn't the content like where other things, as you always say, show a shot of the scenery, a shot of some fighting, a shot of the scenery, some people turning around to look at the camera. Like, you always say you hate that, and that's good, because this was very heavy dialogue. It was more
Dialogue,
it was set in the
yes.
tone, wasn't it? It was like, it was like loads of conflicting thoughts back and forth about loads of different things about Batman, about Superman, and all this sort of stuff. So it was more set in the tone of what the film's going to be, and that's a world that's conflicted.
And it was so reminiscent of The Dark Knight Returns, which is a Frank Miller Batman comic book from the 80s, which is regarded as one of the best Batman comics of all time. So
yeah. See, Frank Miller has a habit of doing that, doesn't he?
Yeah, he really does. He's a pretty good writer. So yeah, a lot of shots from this seems to come straight out of that comic book. Like, I saw a lot of people complaining about Batman being on a roof in one shot with a sniper rifle, but the only time I've ever seen Batman with a sniper rifle is in Dark Knight Returns. His suit looks the same, his armor looks the same. Yeah, I'm very, very excited now. What did you think of Ben Affleck thing? 'Cause it's the first time we've sort of seen him properly.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's like when everyone was moaning about Ben Affleck being Batman, you can go back and watch any of my campus calls. I've always said from the start, I'm going into it with an open mind, because I think they're at a point now after the Dark Knight trilogy and stuff like that. They're not just going to willy-nilly cast someone just because maybe he looks good for the role or he's a big actor. They're not going to do it unless he's right for it. So I've got a feeling that Ben Affleck, he can play that rich guy look. I think at the same time he's really henched himself out. So I think he's going to do a good job. I think, as I say, like, they haven't actually shown any of his acting as Batman yet, so we can't clarify. But I think he's going to do all right. I was never a huge fan of Christian Bale's Batman. Never have been. Everyone loves it, but I think what makes those films good is the writing and the directing. Is not his acting. That's what I've always felt about Christian Bale. So I've got a feeling Ben Affleck might actually do quite a good job in this role.
See,
I
I agree with you. I don't like Christian Bale's Batman, but I really loved Christian Bale's Bruce Wayne. I thought he was the perfect Bruce Wayne.
See, one of my thoughts, like, as I say, I don't read DC, so this is where you're more of an area of expertise. But I always felt he was more of a vigilante than a detective. In the Dark Knight trilogy, that's what I felt. Like that. No, I'm not saying that's what he should be.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Is I felt he was all superhero vigilante, and I don't remember in the Dark Knight really him being much of a detective. I can't think at any point where he was actually using. Like, he was more just fighting, and maybe he figured some stuff out, but he was never there at a crime scene. Like, okay, what happened here?
I'll tell you when. In Batman Begins, which is the best film of that trilogy, in my opinion, it's the only film where he is a bit of a detective. He, it addresses the origin in a really nice way, and it's the only film, in my opinion, that shows what Gotham is like. In The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises, it just seemed like Chicago where they filmed it. It didn't feel like Gotham.
Yeah.
Love that film. And I'm excited for Batman v Superman. I've always been a little bit skeptical. I've always loved Ben Affleck. I remember the announcement came at 3 a.m, and I just happened to be awake when it came, so I was right on it. Tweeted straight away about how, for the record, I'm happy with it now, because I saw the internet go crazy.
Yeah.
I remember seeing an interview of Ben Affleck. I think it was the first public interview he did after the announcement, and they were talking about how he's not really on the internet and all that. He's not on Twitter or anything like that. But he did have a look after because Warner Brothers warned him that there'd be some fallout, just like there was with Heath Ledger and things like that.
Yeah.
So he said the first comment he read about him being cast as Batman was just someone going, "No," and that was it. No swear words or anything. But it was like that's the worst thing he could have seen.
Yeah. How demoralising is that?
Yeah. But no, I love it. I love it.
Yeah. But it's one of those things. Let's face it. The more vocal variety is always the more negative.
Absolutely.
It's always the way I forget the actual the saying, but it's always like the more negative are always vocal. Like if you go on any review sites for like hotels, you're gonna find more this was awful, this was bad compared to this was really great. Because you have a great holiday, you just go home and that's the end of it. You hate something, you can't forget about it. You're so passionate that you have to write about it. And I feel that's the same when it comes to stuff getting announced. So
yeah, I think I would like to say quick if it fits in here, but I really like the guys on your channel. Like I think their comments were really great, and it's nice to see you guys commenting so nicely. So thanks a lot for that, guys. Just want to put it out there real quick. Yeah, it's really lovely little community you've got here.
Yeah, my little captain's crew, they're awesome. Like it is rare you find a douchebag here. It really is. Like
yeah, it was refreshing. I mean, I've had a little bit of experience with a few internet douchebags lately, so it was nice to see everything nice in your comments. So thank you, guys.
Oh, there you go, guys. Yeah, getting compliments all around. Do you know what? Speaking, I will get back to Batman and Superman because I still want to talk about this. But I was going to ask you this at the start, and I completely forgot about it. How's the animation going?
I want to talk to you about that in a minute. I'll talk to you about that. There's a good segue coming up.
Okay, cool. So we'll finish Batman and Superman first, yeah?
Yeah.
All right, fair enough. So one thing I did want to mention was Batman's suit. And that was because, again, at first, my initial reaction was like, why is he dressed up like a robot? I didn't quite get that. And then, after talking to some other people, I thought to myself, well, one, he's battling Superman. He's not going to go in wearing spandex. He needs some protection. So that makes sense. And apparently that is actually quite reminiscent of the armor he actually wore.
Absolutely. In Dark Knight Returns. It's honestly straight out of the comic book. It looks so good.
Yeah.
I'm so happy about it.
So I suppose that's a good thing. And the other thing was, and I remember reading this in the comments and thinking, yeah, that's actually very true. Is he actually looks like the Dark Knight? He looks menacing. He looks scary. And that was like one of the things that at least I've always remember thinking about Batman was that criminals feared him. Like he was this presence in the dark that just like came out.
That's why he chose bats, because it's what he's scared of, Yeah,
exactly.
He wanted criminals to be, afraid of the same thing he was.
Yeah, and I always thought, something like, again, because I wasn't a huge fan of Christian Bale, but this isn't against him because he didn't design it. But I always felt like the suit in I haven't seen the trilogy, the Batman trilogy, in quite a while, so I can't say this with any confidence. But I always felt when he's running around at night, when he's doing something, when he's fighting, it looked fine. When he's just standing there as Batman, I always thought he looked a bit goofy. I always felt he looked like he was somebody in a suit. I think it was the cowl mainly, just like the same thing I said about Captain America's helmet. Like it just made him look a bit weird. The rest of the suit was fine. It was just the helmet. I think in this, he's gonna look. Bear in mind you haven't seen it in too much detail yet. He just has this presence about him where he looks like, even though he's doing good, if you first meet him, you'd be scared.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't be like, whoa, what's this guy? Like if he came around like he did in this trailer, you'd be like, holy hell, I'm getting the hell out of there. I don't know who this guy is, but I'm gone. Because he looks scary, which is, from what I hear, is how he's supposed to look. So I think that's kind of cool. But I think your thoughts on this are going to be a lot more on point, being a DC and a Batman reader.
Well, I think the main thing for me is that they teased at Comic-Con when they announced Batman v Superman. They teased it with, I'm not going to be able to find the actual quote now, but they teased it with a quote from Dark Knight Returns, which made everyone think like straight away, like, oh, here we go, it's going to be just like Dark Knight Returns, like, in a good way. And it does seem exactly like that, and I couldn't be more excited for it. I hope it's not an exact adaptation, because there's a lot of history that they'll miss otherwise. I won't give too much away there, but there's a lot of major characters that wouldn't be in this. It'd be like doing Civil War without Iron Man.
Yeah.
There's a pretty big character missing from Dark Knight Returns. But I think it's going to be good. it's been so weird with all this DC production. They keep casting people and they keep announcing films, and this is the first like real thing we've seen. I mean, obviously, Man of Steel's out, but it was never a franchise when that was said. But I feel like this is the first time now that we've seen something from this shared universe, and I think it worked for me. I do.
Yeah, I've always had this feeling with DC that they're kind of not playing catch up, but whereas when Marvel, because Marvel Studios like became their own thing, and the first thing they did was Iron Man, and from Iron Man 1 they had this whole plan, like they knew where they were going. It's felt very structured. But because they did Batman, like Batman Begins, and then they did all the Dark Knight stuff, and then they thought, yeah, let's do a shared universe. Let's bring in Superman. I think they're eventually into the Justice League, aren't they?
Yeah.
So I felt like they're almost trying to fit things in. Like I'm guessing as it goes on, it's going to get a lot more structured. Like I'm guessing now they have a plan where they want to go, but I feel like right now they're trying to. It's like as far as like in my mind, it feels like Superman was the start of this shared universe.
Yeah,
That's because it feels like the Batman trilogies.
I want to know how planned that was, because obviously Man of Steel is canon to this new universe. That is the first film of this DC cinematic universe. So I don't know how planned it was, but there was like Wayne Enterprises in it. There was Luthor Corp in it. Yeah. So it's tough to say for sure what they were thinking.
Do you know what? I've just come up with an idea. What if the Batman trilogy is like a New 52? So like you've got, you know how they had Batman's continuity, the New 52 kicked in, and then like Batman had still been around. He still had a history. Like Robin had already gone on to do other things and stuff like that. Yet it wasn't exactly as you'd read it. Like he'd had a history, but it was still starting from now. Sort of
it's
thing.
like
what if that's what it's like
Dick Grayson was still Nightwing, except his suit's red and black instead of blue and black. That sort of thing.
Yeah, so what if that's what it is? Like Ben Affleck is now the New 52 Batman. So like he's still done stuff. There's still been the Batman trilogy before that. Yet now it's kind of like we're not saying that definitely did happen, but we're not saying it didn't either. So it's kind of like it has happened, but here's the start of the universe.
I feel like too much has happened in the Dark Knight trilogy for that to be a thing. You know, there's the whole Robin is that what's his name? John Blake.
Oh yeah, and Batman retired.
And Batman retired, and yeah.
So what, as far as you're concerned,
and obviously there's a new Joker, and then it would mean if Ben Affleck's the new Christian Bale, it would mean that guy Jared Leto's the new Heath Ledger rather than just the new Joker. So I don't know if it would work out too well.
I see. That's how I always thought like the trilogy was part of this universe. Is supposed with DC is Superman supposed to be the start? Like
the first one of this universe is Man of Steel. Yep. The other was just that was just a standalone trilogy.
So technically, this is Batman's first appearance in the DC universe.
This is the first Batman appearance in the DCCU. Yep.
Ah, right. See, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Maybe they again, of course, obviously I don't follow DC, but maybe this something should be announced more openly. Well, maybe it has been and I just missed it, because I mean that is very likely.
But yeah, I'm very excited for it, I think.
And before we leave, I just got to say, have you seen all the memes that have come out about this?
No.
The old "Do you bleed"?
Oh no, I haven't seen them yet.
My favourite one, I think I retweeted it, was Batman stands there, he's like, "Do you bleed?" And Superman looks back and goes, "No, but your parents did." And then Batman, you know the robotic eyes, the lights he's got. They just suddenly, there's one of them looking normally, and then they just turn up the other way, so he looks sad. Oh man, I thought it was hilarious. That's brilliant. Because there's so many memes like that about Spider-Man and Uncle Ben. There's one actually between Batman and Spider-Man that is just so great. Like, I think Batman calls him up. And he's like doing like the laughing face, because it's like a cartoon where they're biting their lip, and he's like, "Is Uncle Ben there?" And then Peter Parker just shouts back, he's like, "No, he's in an alley with your parents." Batman just cries. Oh man, I love it. The meme, there's loads of memes that have just come out about like, "Do you bleed?"
Oh, I'll have to look into it.
And I'm sure it's only a matter of time if it hasn't happened already, where they do that, like, "Do you bleed? You will," and then it just goes Civil War or something. It's only a matter of time before that happens.
Oh god.
But yeah.
Yeah, I think we're going to be in a really interesting time for films when DC get in full swing with their films, and obviously Marvel are already full swing. So then we've got the Marvel films and the DC films fully battling it out together.
Yeah.
Because we kind of had it with The Dark Knight and Iron Man and The Dark Knight Rises and what film? Amazing Spider-Man came out, and the Avengers. Yeah,
Yeah.
they were like they're the only times we've really had that. But now we've got shared universe versus shared universe. It's going to be a whole different story.
Have you heard that apparently Transformers are doing that now as well? Shared universe. I've just heard about it recently. Yeah, that was basically my thought. I was like, Giant, who cares? Like, this is just like, really, we're just gonna be like more Michael Bay offsprings. Is that what this is gonna be? Apparently, there's gonna be like spin-offs, and it's all gonna be a shared universe. Which again, if they're gonna do that, they need to completely revamp how this series is going. It's just abysmal.
the thought of it was honestly almost just giving me a headache. That is unbearable. Oh.
Yeah, it's gonna be silly.
They make so much money. It's so transparent now because they know what works. They know what sells, and it's not good. It's not good.
If I'm judging anything by the last film, apparently what sells in the Transformers films is close-up action, so you can't see what's going on, explosions, and going in way too much detail explaining how you can go out with a minor as long as you're protected by some law that is like, what was this, like a paedophile's handguide?
Yeah, was it the Romeo and Juliet law or something like that? Which it sounds ridiculous, but apparently it's true. Which is but no, apparently what's making them money is product placement, because there's obviously the famous Beats Pill thing. Have you seen the film?
What, the newest Transformers?
Yeah, the Beats bit where it's like, if you want to listen to some music, and it turns into the Beats Pill, and then the camera zooms in on it. Which is the worst product placement ever. And then there's like a Bud Light van that drives past. This is the most famous product placement in it. He drives past, then crashes, and there's Bud Light all over the floor. Then randomly, Mark Wahlberg goes up to some guy, shouts at him a little bit, cracks a Bud Light open.
Yeah.
The camera zooms in on him, and he drinks it, and then just throws it on the floor. It's so strange.
Yeah.
I
remember watching that and just thinking, what is this? It's just...
it's so stupid. As if they're not making enough money that they need more product placement in there. It's unbelievable.
The humour, if it can be called that, is just abysmal. It's just all... I don't know. It's like it's been written by a 12-year-old. That's just the way it... Like, because it's all, like, bum and fart jokes and...
kind of, like, racist... Like, no, not kind of. They are racist stereotypes of the actual Transformers themselves as well. Like in the first one, they had Jazz, who was like a ghetto African American man, if you remember him.
I was going to say they always have the fast talking black joke.
Yeah, in the second one, there was the two Mexican characters. You know, I don't remember the third one at all. And in this one, there was like the samurai guy who was just like overly Japanese and racist. It just... I don't know how this sort of stuff flies, you know, and how it makes so much money as well.
It's just such... Obviously there is the market for it, but it's such... I don't know, I can't even think of the word. It's such basic humour. Like stuff that was funny in the 90s, but now it's just like, yeah, we know. Like the audience these days, I feel, are looking for... Not sophistication, but they're just looking for a little bit more. They're looking for something to be funny, not just the rehashed humour over and over again. You know, it'd be like if they actually went for a giant laugh with a your mum joke, you know? Don't get me wrong, I love a your mum joke, but it's just the only way I can really think of describing it.
I know exactly what you mean, yeah, I'm with you.
But yeah, God, I can't believe when we start talking about Transformers, I feel like I've just given my podcast AIDS. Oh man, Amy Winehouse podcast AIDS, I'm just destroying this one.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna try and just segue away from it.
Because we have. Is there one more trailer left, or like at least one? Oh, there's a couple of trailers about the same thing, isn't
there? There's 3 linked ones, yeah.
So let's do this.
I'll start off with the furthest from. No, I'll start off with one that wasn't really released. So as I mentioned earlier, Star Wars Celebration was last weekend, Thursday to Sunday, Anaheim, California. It's gonna be in London next year, and I'm gonna go. Just putting that out there right now. Anyway, they released 3 major trailers. So the first one is the unreleased one that they only show to the panel, but obviously a couple of people got it on their phones. This was for Gareth Edwards, who did Godzilla last year. It's his first Star Wars spin-off film, and it's called Star Wars Anthology Rogue One. So all we saw was like a shot of some planet that we don't know where it is yet. I'm predicting Alderaan, but we could be wrong. That's just a guess. And then the camera pans up. So you see there's a beautiful environment, kind of like Pandora and Avatar. And all of a sudden, birds, that sort of thing. All of a sudden we see a TIE fighter fly across. can't do a TIE fighter sound. That's what you're getting.
Loved it.
Do you know
brilliant.
what the TIE fighter sound is? How they got that?
How?
They got an elephant's like a what's the noise an elephant make? It's like a little trumpet mouth noise. Yeah, they got that and they just slowed it down.
Really?
Yeah, so they got the sound for the TIE fighter.
Like, what do you think the thought process was there? Like,
No, I don't know.
We need a spaceship. We need a TIE fighter. How should we get this? And some guy's sitting there like, I'm going to the zoo tomorrow. Like...
No, dude, those guys, that job of creating sound effects is called Foley, and they're Foley artists. And I don't know how they do it, but they are geniuses. I don't know what it is, but they come up with some really creative stuff. Like, for example, when you're watching people walk through snow, this is always the example I give. Whenever someone's like trudging through the snow and you hear their footsteps, that normally is just some dude next to a microphone pushing his hand on a bag of powdered custard. Yeah, now you're going to see that dude every time you see someone walking through snow, because that's all that is.
It reminds me of when they used to do the radio plays, like way back when War of the Worlds was first done on the radio and stuff like that.
Yeah.
When the sound effects were all done with like some guy sitting there banging coconuts together for a horse and stuff like that. That's what I think of when you say that. I imagine like the film played out and he's sitting there just making sound effects. Like, here comes Optimus Prime, and that's a different film, but like, just like, here comes a TIE fighter, and he's just like putting his arm up to his nose, like. Yeah, sorry, continue.
No, hold on. I'm trying to think. There was another really famous. In Terminator 2: Judgment Day, when the guy like morphs through like a solid object, the sound you hear, like the kind of sound, is literally just a dude opening a can of dog food and tipping it out, and you hear the dog food go. That's all that is. But it's so clever how they do that sort of thing. I'm a huge fan of like the Foley artists, and actually in some films the Foley artists are really creepy. There was I'm trying to think of the film. It was like I think it might be a horror film. It might have been Midnight Meat Train or no, was it? It might have been Human Centipede, or something like that. Something a bit weird and creepy. But on the making of, there was like this whole bit with the Foley artist. And it was just him like sitting with all this meat and like enjoying chopping it up to get the different sounds of stuff. And he was way too into it and loving it way too much. It was scarier than the actual film.
Do you know, when you said that, like some of it was really creepy. I imagine like it's like so in the scene in I don't know, Twilight or whatever, where Edward first goes up to, is it Bella? Is it Bella?
Yeah,
Bella?
Bella.
Yeah, Bella's window. That sound was created by me opening my neighbour's window. It's like some really creepy guy, and he's like, "It's for science. Don't worry. Go back to sleep."
It's actually just some dude stabbing meat in front of a camera and smiling the whole time, and every blood splatter. It was creepy as. But
someone's walking in like, "Oh, sorry, you recording?" And he's like, "No, just stabbing his meat."
Recording? We talking? Yes.
I bet, like in the end, they just get so bored doing it, they try and come up with creative new ways to make the sound.
Yeah, probably. But yeah. Anyway, this TIE fighter goes past.
No, sorry, get way back on topic.
And all of a sudden, the camera kind of follows the TIE fighter, and we see a Death Star in the background, and it's huge. So this is either like a moon of a planet or something like that. And it just looks incredible. It looks so big and powerful and daunting, and it instantly sets the tone. Like, so we now know this is between episode 3 and 4, which is what we thought it would be before, and now it's kind of tying together that this will be a heist film between like bounty hunters or anything like that, and it's going to like Ocean's 11 but in the Star Wars universe, and they're going to steal the plans to the Death Star, which is what of course sends Leia and Luke and all the rebels on the mission in the original trilogy. So I'm kind of excited for that. Although this I will say there was a lot of hype around this trailer. It was trees, a TIE fighter, and a Death Star. 3 things I've seen before. There was nothing really new there. So the trailer isn't what got me excited. It was more the confirmation of what this film will be.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, seeing as how like now Star Wars is a Disney thing.
Yeah.
Do you think that now Disney have got this? They're like, right, we're gonna make this a current franchise again, like Marvel. It's got its all shared universe stuff like. Do you think they're like, right, Star Wars, go?
I think so.
I think it's not just new stuff. They're gonna make side stuff, and like they're doing the comics now as well. And
well, there's comics, there's books, there's games coming. Which we'll talk about in a second. There's TV shows, like animated TV shows.
Wouldn't surprise me if they're gonna be in Disney Infinity soon as well. Chewie.
And they will be, I think, and
Yeah,
and
that's
and
right,
and
mate.
and all of it is canon. All of it is tied together, and all of it's in the universe. All the comics, all the books, all the TV shows. So it's genius because now I want to read every book, buy every comic, and watch every TV show because it all matters. It's all part of the history and the lore of Star Wars
Yeah.
now.
You,
And I think, gone.
I was about to
Sorry.
say, you saying that, yeah, Disney are actually very good at that. Because just before this started, there was a clip that came up in like a recommended thing on YouTube saying, the Avengers get help with Ant-Man in Earth's Mightiest Heroes, like the TV cartoon program,
Yeah.
which I've never watched. But it's like I've noticed that they bring in characters as the movie's about to come out. Like a couple of apparent, because it always pops up as recommended videos. Because obviously everything I do is superhero related. It
Yep.
popped up that Ultron was in an episode recently, and now Age of Ultron's come out. Ant-Man's appearing in episodes, and it's literally like,
Did you see the Ultimate Spider-Man TV show on Disney XD?
no.
It's
That
it's a
was
good it's
awful.
a good show. It's actually
Really?
a good show.
From
Yeah,
what I've
I
seen,
really
it was awful.
no, I thoroughly enjoyed it. And yeah, the Guardians were in it for a bit as well around
Yeah.
that time, and
Well-
it was the film team as well.
It's like Spider-Man's just been introduced back into the MCU, and then when they're battling Ultron, Spider-Man's there helping. And it's just like literally on point. They're like, "Oh, film's coming out. Oh, news has just dropped. In they go, and it's clever because
Yeah,
kids who
it
know
is,
nothing
it
about
is.
them now do, and they want to go see the film. So it's very clever, and I'm guessing they're doing the same thing with Star Wars.
Well, yeah, we get a new Star Wars film this year, December 18th, I think. And then they announced, okay, yeah, the first spin-off film's coming out next year. So I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. And then episode 8 is coming out the year after that. So now I'm seeing a pattern, a really easy to spot pattern. Are we going to be getting yearly Star Wars films from now on? Because I will take it. I would love that. That's one of my favorite things. Every year is the new Marvel film or whatever. So I would love a new Star Wars film every year because I don't know if you guys have worked this out. I'm a huge Star Wars fan.
What? But no, imagine how cool that would be. 'Cause now there's going to be 3 Marvel films a year, and then let's also add on whatever Fox is churning out with X-Men or Fantastic Four, and now add Star Wars films on top of that. How cool is summer going to be? I'm assuming it'll be summer blockbusters.
And DC films. Well, actually,
DC
no.
films as well, yeah.
This Star Wars coming out Christmas. Next one's coming Christmas. The one after that is May though.
Oh, so that's even better though if they are bringing it out at a different time.
Yeah.
Because you need something to. That's why I said that's great that down there's 3 Marvel films a year. You got the 2 in the summer, and then one's always coming out like October, November time. So it breaks that year gap, and it's gonna be cool. Because if they're coming out Christmas time, not only is that a great time to release something around Christmas, but it's again breaking that gap.
Yeah, it's true, and it's an exciting time to be a Star Wars fan, guys. So get ready for these next few years. I think they're going to be good, and yeah, I thought that I want to be really excited, but I've been let down by Star Wars before.
You've hurt me in the past, man. You've hurt me in the past.
Yeah, it's hard to collect my thoughts. Sorry for that little cluster there, guys, but yeah, it's
This is where we need video so we can see the single tear rolling.
Oh,
down
you
your
don't even
cheek.
know. I've got my hand on my heart right now for like. I've got my hand on my heart, and I'm just thinking about how the original trilogy built me up so high as a kid. I watched a Star Wars film every day after school, and it was one of those things where you new kids won't get this reference. Where as soon as the film would finish, I'd hit stop, rewind, and get that video back to the very beginning again, and hit play, and just watch it all over again because I loved them so much.
To the point where like the tracking would go really fuzzy on the part of the
Yes,
VHS because that's the
yeah.
point you always rewind it at.
Oh, oh man, and then I just got let down, and yeah, I'm sorry, I can't think right now.
It's too much. Well, while you're in a bit of an emotional wreck, was there? Do we want to actually talk about the actual main Star Wars?
We'll get there.
trailer?
We'll get there. There was
sorry. I'm kicking along too quick.
I'll build it to it because I might cry, but I'll get to that as well. Star Wars Battlefront trailer finally dropped, and it was awesome. Did you see it?
I have not. No. The only one I've seen is the main Star Wars trailer.
It started off, and I was like, "Oh, great, another CGI trailer for a game." I really didn't want that. I was hoping for gameplay, and then that thing I love seeing pop up in the corner, which was recorded in engine, and I'm thinking, yes, this game is going to be beautiful. I'm going to see all these worlds that I love and that I've been waiting to see since I was a kid, and I'm going to see them in glorious HD. And this game just looks like so much fun. And again, because it's a new game under this new Disney stuff that's happening, it's going to be canon. So battles that happen in Battlefront will explain what happens in the film. So it's going to be another must buy for me.
Is it Star Wars Battlefront 3?
It's just called Battlefront, but it is the third one. So I think it's kind of a reboot or just a spiritual successor, but it's made by a different company.
All right, fair enough. Yeah, while you was talking, I was going to very quickly sort of watch the trailer in the background. Oh, no, I have seen this. Oh, yeah, I have seen this trailer. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, this looks beautiful, doesn't it?
It looks gorgeous.
It's insanely beautiful.
Yeah.
It's like...
See what I mean? That's why I thought it was CGI. Like, I couldn't... My brain couldn't fathom that was in-game engine running.
It's the realistic nature of it, and do you know what's even better about it? It's the one thing that I mean, we always had like an issue with regards to The Hobbit, was the fact that the difference between something that's CGI that looks realistic, it's always the movement that lets it down. And the thing is when something's CGI, everything moves too perfect. Yeah. And with real life stuff, people stumble, or maybe something just jiggles or moves, or it's stuff like that, like little tiny movements that they always get wrong.
It's the imperfections that make things perfect. That's why, like just it's a little thing. I know it's kind of random off, but on Forza, you know, from one game to the next one, like the main difference was there was like scratches and like kind of more imperfections on the car and stuff. But it made it look 10 times more realistic, even though the other one was like a perfectly smooth car, because that doesn't really exist. That's like maybe a concept car that sits in a tunnel somewhere, but every car is like a bit battered, a bit rough, you know. It just has dust flying against it. There's always like a slight thing wrong with it. Nothing's perfect and symmetrical and things like that. And this film just looks like it really captures that. This game, excuse me.
Yeah. So while you were saying that, I was watching the trailer as well in the background. It does look fantastic.
Alright, and my heart raced when Darth Vader came through. Although I actually don't like that you can play as like Jedi and stuff like that. I don't know, it's just for me, in Star Wars Battlefront 1, I liked being rewarded that when you got a certain amount of kills or whatever, Jedi would come in and fight for you, and you was just a soldier, you was just a grunt in this army. And then in Star Wars Battlefront 2, you could play as the Jedi, and I feel like that took away that special thing about the game for me, that I was just another nobody, a faceless soldier.
Yeah.
What do you think about being able to play as like Darth Vader and stuff like that?
That's the thing. Is like I don't really have too much of a point of reference, like to go forwards with it. Especially because I haven't played the others. I have no idea what the gameplay's like for any of them like that. The only thing I could really equate it to, and it's gonna be sound really silly, but was the multiplayer in Batman Arkham Origins.
Okay.
And in that you played just a random thug. It was like 3-on-3, like team deathmatch kind of thing. But whoever at one point a boss would bang on the door, and whatever team got there first, you'd turn into, say, like it was Bane's team versus Joker's team. So if you were on Bane's team and you got there first, you'd become Bane. But if you're on Joker's team and you got there first, you'd become Joker, and you had more health and you did more damage. But it was only for a limited amount of time. So that's the only thing. That's the only point of reference I can have. But when you say like you can be Darth Vader, it can like everyone be Darth Vader, or is it only like one person on the team can be Darth Vader?
I think it's just one person on the team, whoever's like got the most kills at that time or something like that. On your team, you get like, you know, a minute with Darth Vader or stuff like that. But then you're just so overpowered, and I didn't like it.
That's the thing. I can see how that can be cool, but then at the same time, it would seem silly. Darth Vader legging it around with all the ground troops.
Yeah.
It would seem kind of odd. And then when he gets... Obviously, it's just a game, but then when he gets killed, because it's being played by some idiot who doesn't know what they're doing or something, you'll be like, okay, that was weird. Like, I'm just some random troop, and I just, like, completely stomped Darth Vader. But... as I say, I don't really have too much of a point of reference, so...
That's fair. No, I did really like it, though. It's one of my most anticipated games of the year. Again, just because it's Star Wars, and I'm ready to see some stuff from the universe, because they're gonna reveal some things that are brand new before The Force Awakens comes out. Which brings us nicely to the final trailer that we'll be talking about today, which is Star Wars Episode 7: The Force Awakens. I love this trailer. I'm gonna just come right out and say I loved it. What did you think?
Yeah, I liked it. Again, like as you say, I'm really Star Wars noob. I know next to little about, other than like some of the newer Star Wars films I've seen. I know really little about it. So, but from what I've seen, I think it looks good.
A part of me really doesn't want to say what I'm about to say, but now that I've said that, I have to say it. But I'm about to reveal to you how big a Star Wars fan I am.
Oh,
and
here we go.
I was watching the whole live stream of the opening panel with J.J. Abrams and Kathleen Kennedy, and even Mark Hamill, Peter Mayhew, and Carrie Fisher, Anthony Daniels, all of those. I was watching it with all of them, And when the trailer finally came, I was watching it live with everyone around the world, and I totally cried.
I knew you were gonna say that.
Totally
I knew
cried.
it.
It was just a trailer, and I watched the trailer again, and I didn't cry a second time, but I was close. I got goosebumps. My heart was racing. It was perfect. I'm struggling to fault this trailer in any way. I love it.
See, I think you might look at Star Wars the same way I look at the MCU.
No,
Like,
because
I can't
I
see
know
fault.
how bad Phantom Menace is. I know how bad Attack of the Clones is, and I know how bad Revenge of the Sith is. Them prequels are unforgivable.
One of the questions is, and obviously this is just something I found out recently, but is someone else going to lose their hand? Is that trend going to continue?
Yeah, let's talk about that a second. It kind of got revealed this week by Kevin Feige
Yeah.
that since he's a Star Wars fan and a Star Wars is with Disney and stuff like that, they kind of had this like homage to Empire Strikes Back and Star Wars in general that a character would lose their hand. And it just started off as like a little joke. It wasn't an official thing that would be stuck in the Marvel films. But then all of a sudden it did. So now in every Phase 2 film, apparently someone loses a hand, whether it's like a robot or an illusion, or whether someone actually loses a hand. It happens in every single one of them. So if you think back to it now or you look out for it, you'll definitely see that.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. He's a fan.
It's like the interview I saw was that he said apparently he's in love with Star Wars, like he's loved it as long as he can remember, and he never as you said, like he never planned on it happening. It was just like in one of the films someone lost a hand, and the next one someone lost a hand. So then he from that point decided to keep it going as a pattern. And as you say, sometimes it's something that's actually happened. Sometimes it's more of a Loki's illusion or something like that. And obviously I'm not going to mention what happens in Age of Ultron, but
It's my favourite one. I think it's my favourite of the Easter eggs in this one.
What, in the Age of Ultron one?
Yeah, my favourite arm loss. It's so good.
Yeah, it was good. But yeah. So you said with Star Wars, with the newest trailer, you said there was a nice little segue that you wanted to move forwards with.
Yeah, I did actually. Well remembered. Yeah. So this week not this week. It's not going to be a weekly anymore. But for the latest Schmotunes, I've been animating frame by frame remaking the Star Wars trailer. Because apparently I'm absolutely insane and I want to give myself so much work. But I've been going through that. So right now, at this point in time, I'm very, very, very familiar with this trailer. Like,
I bet.
At a frame by frame kind of point of reference. And I still love it. So yeah,
Man,
take from that what you will.
How, seriously, just I don't know if any of you guys out there are animators or you've done any form of animating in the past, but just on how long is the actual trailer itself, like the Star Wars trailer? Is it a minute or something?
Star Wars trailer's a little over a minute. It's about 1 minute. It's about 1 minute 48. I think. Let me just look that up. Yes. It's 1 minute 48 and 19 frames.
So bear in mind that's 100. Sorry, you have to literally just say it. What was it? 1
minute, 48
minute.
seconds, 19 frames.
1 minute and 48 seconds. Now, even though the trailer is at 1 minute and 48 seconds, how much time have you spent animating this? Roughly. Approximate guess.
Well, I did 13 hours in a row on my first day. Then I did another 6. So I've done about 19 hours so far. And do you want to know where I'm up to?
Where?
I am up to 1 minute, 20 seconds, and 2 frames.
Oh, you're so close.
It's not close enough. To be fair, hold on, let me look at my shot list real quick. It's right next to me. One of these shots is just the Star Wars titles at the end, and that's 9 seconds long and nine frames. But yeah, there's still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 shots, 10 shots that I still need to do out of a 20-shot trailer. So I know exactly how many shots are in this trailer now.
Yeah.
It's 26-shot trailer, so it's a lot of work. A lot goes into it.
Yeah, it's just an insane amount of work for such a short amount of time.
Yeah,
it's
so
just
you got
crazy.
to watch them Schmotunes and appreciate them a lot more now.
Yeah, definitely. As I say, links for anyone who might have missed it last week, links to Tommy's Twitter and to the Schmotunes that he creates are also in the description. So go down there and watch them. They'll be in the description to this video as well. So go down and have a watch.
Yeah.
I'll link to the first one, and then you can see all the rest.
Yeah, you can see them all. I will say this particular project I've given myself, for some reason that I've given myself, is a lot more ambitious than my others, because I have to like trace over certain parts. So the assets I can't just do freehand because I want to get it perfect. Like in some shots, even if the shot's like, I don't know, 40 frames long, which is a little over a second, I will still match up like every camera shake, everything like that, just to get it exactly looking like it is. Because
This is where me and you are spot on the same.
Yeah.
Like, I'm the same. If it's something I'm really passionate about, I'm such a
Yep.
perfectionist about
perfection
it.
to a fault. It is to a fault.
Oh,
because
yeah.
it makes things so much harder for yourself, and it's like it's the sort of thing that only I would notice, and only if you pause the trailer at the exact time would you even realize that was happening, or if you was watching them side by side. But just the fact that I know, and if someone did that, they'll be able to be like, oh look at that, that's in there. Like, I like to throw stuff like that in.
It's one of those things that, and the payoff's never worth it either. Because
Oh,
like,
no.
you do it, and like the end of it, like you've got crippling arthritis in your index finger, your eyes are bleeding, it goes live, and you look at it and you get a comment. Nice. You're like, what? It's like the payoff's never worth it.
I would be so defeated if I didn't have that. If I didn't do that in there, and I'd watch it back and I'd be like, no, that could have been so much better.
Imagine though if the first comment you got was fake and gay. How angry would you be?
Oh, I'd quit the internet.
Yeah. That's it. I'm alt-tabbing out of life. I'm done.
Yeah, like the other episodes are like 30 something seconds each, so
No.
this is like 3 times the work I've done before, and it's a big one, but I'm excited for it. And it's last time I'm animating dudes sitting at a desk and talking. This time there's explosions and spaceships and.
Yeah, when you first time when you were doing that, I think I retweeted the tweet that you put out as well. When you first said you were doing that, I just couldn't believe it because I just recently seen the Star Wars trailer and I was like, I can't believe you're like committing to that amount of work. It's insane.
I'm a madman, but yeah, that's Schmotins anyway. This is the currently Untitled podcast.
Yeah. So obviously as you're still doing it right now, obviously that one won't be out, but there'll be a link in the description to all the other Schmotunes that you've already done.
Yeah.
So go down there, check it out. Write a comment, give Tommy some love, and also the fact that the people that schmo anyway, they're good guys for letting for actually doing that as well. So
yeah. Oh, and if I can actually promote something else while we're on the topic of
go
it,
ahead.
I just got confirmed recently that I'll be a new writer on the schmoesknow.com website. So that's kind of exciting.
Oh
for me.
really?
Yeah. So
that's awesome, mate.
I'll be writing news with them over there. So yeah. Look into that, guys. Look into that.
Oh, in that case, definitely go down there and check them out. Give them some love, especially if that's going to be happening.
Yeah, I'll be starting next week. So I've just thrown more stuff on my busy schedule. Because, like I said,
especially with deadline month rolling up right now,
apparently I hate myself and want to give myself more work, but it'll be worth it in the end, I hope.
Oh man. Well, anyway, good luck with all that.
Speaking of film news, since schmoesknow.com is a film news website, do you want to talk about another little nugget of rumor that dropped this week regarding something kind of I don't know. I think you're excited about. You're a Spider-Man fan, Dave. I've been known. I've been known to participate. Yeah.
I think it's general knowledge around the world. People who don't even know me know I'm a Spider-Man fan.
So as I was talking earlier about El Mayimbe and what he dropped, and which I'll point out came true. He also dropped the shortlist of 5 people who may be in talks to play Spider-Man. That may be the most vague thing I've ever said in my life.
Yeah.
So many ifs and buts around that. But I now that I've seen these actors who I'll mention in a second, it's really, really clear the kind of Peter Parker we're going to be getting.
Oh yeah, and none of them are the original ones that people rumoured. Like you had Logan Lerman and all that sort of stuff that people were rumoured to be Spider-Man, and none of them are.
Yeah, and all of them are younger than the guys that are rumoured as well. They're all I think the oldest one of the lot is 20 and the youngest is 18. So there you go.
So they're definitely going for a younger looking Peter Parker and someone who can play him for a decent amount of time as well.
I'm just going to throw these names out there if you haven't seen this article and if you've got IMDb up.
What I'll do is before you go into it, what I'll either do, depending on how lazy Future Dave is, either the picture will appear on the screen now or it's in the description. So if no picture appeared on the screen, go to the description and I'll link the website in which we're looking at this from. So, all right. So start in whatever order you want to go in.
Okay, I'll talk about my favourite one first of all, which is what image are you going to use? The one that I sent you?
Yeah, the link you sent me.
Yeah, which is I'll credit where credit's due. That was Jeff Snyder from The Wrap, who I'm actually another huge fan of. He's a great writer that I'm a fan of. But yeah, we've got top left, who I believe is Timothy Chalamet. Chalamet. Why is it every episode so far, and by every episode I mean last episode and this episode, have I had to try and pronounce a French surname and just embarrassed myself?
That's the issue with the film industry, I guess. There's going to be some weird names out there.
But
That's
yeah,
why I leave that stuff to you.
I don't know which names go with which faces from what I'm seeing here, so I'm just gonna. I know Asa Butterfield is the bottom right image. He was the guy from Ender's Game and Hugo. So I know he's got chops, like acting chops. The other guys, I'm not really keen on. I don't really like the look of them. I think the top left is definitely my first choice.
Yeah.
What about you?
I was about to say, so just for anybody who hasn't gone to the link or if I haven't put on the screen, what are the list of the names, the 5 people?
Oh yeah, sorry. There's Nat Wolff, Asa Butterfield, Tom Holland, Timothy and Liam James.
Alright, so yeah, so like obviously depending on whether I put this on the screen or in the link or whatever, for anyone who's looking at the picture right now, I'm not quite sure like how I feel looking at these actors. I've never seen any of them in an acting capacity before, but as you say, they are definitely going for a younger look.
Yeah.
But
so okay, Dave, tomorrow news drops. Tim as old Timothy, you know what he looks like. He's been announced. He's Spider-Man. He's Peter Parker. What's your reaction? What's your gut reaction to that?
that's the guy top left picture, isn't
Top
it?
left, yeah.
Out of all of them, I don't know. I'm probably thinking more. I don't know why. The guy at top middle, I don't know. He just doesn't. I don't know. I say I haven't seen him in acting capacity, but just from this picture alone, he just doesn't have a Peter Parker vibe to me. Top left, yeah, I'm thinking possibly maybe out of these 5. Out of these 5, he's the one I prefer. Obviously, like one thing that obviously I just want to say is that they're the ones who Sony's looking at the most, but none of them have actually been like contacted and offered interviews or anything like that. It's just what they're looking at so far, isn't it?
As far as the rumor goes, and as far as LMA sources claimed, these are just people that Sony and Marvel are looking into and are giving test offers to, or have given test offers to. I don't know what the past present tense and that is, because I'd heard before that they'd already started screening people and testing people. Yeah. So I don't know how old that information is, but I mean, as of recording this is like pretty much brand new. It came out yesterday, I think, or this morning maybe. But yeah, so it's pretty new stuff. Sony and Marvel haven't commented on it, which is obviously it's very it doesn't say anything, but it's not a no. So
yeah, it's one of those things you can look at 2 ways. I haven't commented because there's no point because it's not true, or they haven't commented because it is true and they're like, how are we going to handle this?
Yeah.
So there's 2 very conflicting ways you can look at it. But I don't know. I haven't got any thoughts or feelings either way looking at these cast. But it's one of these things that right now I trust Marvel. I'm not sure how I feel about Sony, the way they've gone. But I trust Marvel, and I don't think they would mess Spider-Man up. Like the third version of Spider-Man, I don't think they can afford to mess it up. I don't think they would do it unless they knew hands down like this is the route we want to go.
Yeah.
So I'm right now. This is one of those things where I'm quite happy to put my blinders up and just be like, I'm trusting Marvel. Just do what you feel is best.
Speaking of Marvel and Sony and Spider-Man, which I know you love talking about, it got announced today? It got announced this week for you listeners that there's going to be an animated Spider-Man film, and it's going to be produced and written by Phil Lord and Chris Miller. And they did Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 1 and 2. They did the Lego Movie, which I absolutely adore, and they did 21 and 22 Jump Street, which again I love. So I haven't seen the Cloudy with a Chance of Meatball films, but their other 3 films are all absolute hits in my mind. All brilliant. What do you think of these guys, and what do you think of their fit with Spider-Man?
Well, I think like hearing stuff like Cloudy with a Chance of Meatball and Lego Movie and stuff like that, they're all kid-orientated films, so that's definitely a good thing. I kind of feel like maybe they're doing this in a sense because they're doing a Spider-Man movie, but they want to also make a really child-friendly kind of Spider-Man movie as well. That's why they're doing a Spider-Man movie and a Spider-Man animated movie. I think that's why they're doing both. So in that way, they've got the one that's just fitting in the MCU, and it's going to be like, it's probably, I really doubt they're going to make it like a 15 or something like that, Spider-Man. But I think that's why they're also doing a cartoon, so they can get the really young kids in. Because let's face it, if there's anyone that like young kids really feel towards, is Spider-Man. It's like out of all the Marvel characters, I'm guessing Spider-Man's the one that appeals more to little kids and adults, whereas Iron Man maybe just be for like teens up or something like that. So.
But also what's interesting about this is Phil Lord and Chris Miller also, I think actually that was also this week, so it's good to talk about, also got announced that they'll be writing at least the story, possibly and hopefully directing the Flash film as well, 2018 for the DC universe.
Oh, really?
So it looks like these guys are jumping left and right. So
yeah. Well, there was something I just read on the article for Spider-Man, and it said the film will exist independently of the projects in the live-action Spider-Man universe, all of which are moving forward as planned. So, like, actually, maybe I might have just read that wrong. The film will exist independently. Oh, so does that mean... So, like, reading that, does that mean that the cartoon Spider-Man is going to be its own separate thing? Or are they... Because I remember before Sony joined up with Marvel, they were going to have, like, a shared universe, but just around Spider-Man. So all Spider-Man's enemies and all Spider-Man's foes. So what if they do this Spider-Man cartoon and then start doing their Spider-Man universe, but just for the cartoon? So they've still got Spider-Man in the MCU, but they've also got a animated Spider-Man, and then they continue with their Spider-Man universe, but in an animated capacity. So in that way, they're kind of getting their cake and eating it too.
Well, it's kind of interesting as well, actually, that a few months back, it was announced that there would be some animated films that would tie into the universe, in the same way S.H.I.E.L.D. does, Daredevil does, Agent Carter does, things like that. So they would have relevance to the MCU. So it's interesting that Spider-Man isn't going to be one of those animated projects, because it's going to be independent, it's going to be its own thing. But maybe they kind of do the... maybe Sony had some scripts sitting around of what Spider-Man was going to be before with Sinister Six and stuff like that, so they're just going to animate them. But we will be getting animated tie-ins.
See, the thing I can't get my head around, when they say animated, is this going to be cartoon, or is it going to be sort of like Cars or a Toy Story? Is it going to be like that, or is it going to be actual cartoon?
What would you prefer, first of all?
Well, that's the thing. It's like I can't think of the last time I saw a cartoon at the cinema. Like a cartoon movie. I can't think.
Cartoon at cinema. Probably something like
animated now.
Princess and the Toad or something like that, maybe.
Was that cartoon?
Yeah.
See, that's the thing. I can't remember the last time there was that. I think like if they are, they probably end up doing it like a 3D animated sort of thing.
Yeah.
But if they did a cartoon, that would be cool. That'd be like a nice throwback.
Yeah, it would. I loved that 90s show.
Yeah, and that's the thing, because when it says as cinemas, I'm thinking it's got to be 3D animated. Because if it wasn't a cinemas, I'd imagine it being a cartoon. But who knows? Yeah. But if there was anything else you wanted to talk about with the Spider-Man thing, the Spider-Man leads on to a nice segue about something I actually wanted to talk about. We're segueing left and right here.
Yeah, please segue away.
Well, one thing I wanted to talk about was obviously now Age of Ultron's come out, everyone's going to be talking about that quite a bit, and as we will be probably next week in more detail, maybe the week after, depends how we feel. But I did want to start talking about Captain America: Civil War. Okay. Because now Age of Ultron's out, the next big thing that's coming out, at least in my mind, is Civil War.
Yeah. So who cares about Ant-Man?
Yeah, I care. I've got love for the Rudd. I do. I'm going to get a t-shirt made with that on it, with Paul Rudd just like smiling with a thumbs up. But, there's one thing, like I've had this on my mind for ages, and I always forget to talk about it whenever we're talking about something like this. But it's Civil War, and how Spider-Man's going to play a role in Civil War. And I might go on a bit of a tangent here, but the main thing I was thinking about is like everyone's saying the reason why Spider-Man plays such a huge role in the event of Civil War was because he's always held his identity so closely to his heart, and he never wants to reveal it, and then he publicly reveals his identity to the whole nation to show support to Tony Stark, to say, look, yeah, I believe in your cause, I believe what you're doing here is right, and also trying to prove to the world and the other superheroes that pro-registration is right. And then obviously as time goes on, he begins to realise it's not a great idea, and then he bounces to Captain America, and he's kind of like, he plays both sides. Like a few other characters does, but there's the sort of minor characters. But Spider-Man's the only real major character that flip-flop sides. So I think in a sense they did that because he's loved by everyone. They didn't want him to be on a negative side. Because you got those who like pro and those who like anti. So in that way he's kind of been on both. So in that way, if you like Spider-Man, you can still like him because he's been at least on your side at some point. Yeah. That's kind of why I felt like he did that. But But yeah, so like everyone's saying that okay, Spidey's now in the MCU. So is he going to be Civil War? I think it's either rumored or I don't know if it's been confirmed yet that that's going to be the first film he's in before he's in his own one. So people are saying, is Spider-Man going to reveal his identity? And that's the thing, is I don't think he will. I think it would be stupid because this is he's had loads of films before, the Spider-Man trilogy, the two amazing Spider-Man films, but this is his first one in the MCU. And if he's a kid and if he's in school, they are not going to reveal his identity and then have his first film as him being Spider-Man. That's silly. Like they can't put that genie back in the bottle. I know they did with like A Brand New Day, but you can't do that. You can't have Spider-Man go to Mephisto and make a deal to make everyone forget. That's not going to happen in the cinematic. Imagine if that was the first Spider-Man movie. It's not going to work. So, and people are saying, well, then how's Spider-Man going to play a role if he doesn't unmask? And I think people are looking at it too plainly. I think was one of the biggest issues people have with comics in the MCU is people go, that's not the way it happened. And it's like, yeah, but this is a different take. I think Spider-Man can have the exact same effect that he had in the comic book event without unmasking. Because let's face it, if he's younger, he's a teenage superhero. He hasn't had his own movie yet, so this is going to be the first time he's introduced into the MCU. So it's going to be a big moment. And I think him being so young, he's going to be used almost as like a pawn, like a playing piece between Tony Stark and Captain America.
Yeah, I could totally see that happening.
And I think because he's so young, they don't need him to unmask. He's going to play a big enough role. Just the fact that he's a young child, but yet he's a superhero. And Iron Man's going to be like, no, my side's the best way. This is you're young. Trust me, you need to go forwards, put your best foot forwards. And Cap's going to be like, no, if you're starting off as a superhero, you need to do it right. You need to have your morals in the right place. I think he's going to be like almost like I can't think of the word, like something of pride to put on their mantle. Like if I get Spider-Man on my team, that proves I'm right. And like Captain America might see that as an angry thing against Tony Stark. I think like he's going to play that role perfectly. They don't need to unmask him. If they do, it's just going to ruin everything. Like with regards to Spider-Man, unmasking him is going to do nothing for the story and will just ruin his continuity. So I really don't see them unmasking him. And I think in the sense as well, they could play the same role with Spider-Man with someone like Hawkeye.
Yeah.
Because now, like obviously I'm not going to talk about Age of Ultron, but they built up his character a little bit because he didn't really get much of a push in the first Avengers film. So they focused on him quite a bit. I think they could do that very well in Civil War if Hawkeye's the sort of the piece they're fighting for. Because everyone else kind of already has their sides decided. Like, you know where people are going to land on each of... Like War Machine's obviously going to be pro.
Yeah,
Falcon's
obviously, yeah.
Yeah, you know where people are going to fall with this. But Hawkeye, I think he's up in the air. You don't know which side he's on. So I think that's maybe where they were going to go, and now they're going to use Spider-Man. But I guess the point I just want to get across is a lot of people are saying that now he's in the MCU, are they going to unmask him? Oh, that's going to be silly. I think he's going to play a huge role, but they don't need to unmask him. Like it will serve no purpose. And
remember something that you was telling me about as well, or mentioned a rumor to me about Civil War, or the Civil War, doesn't have to end in Captain America 3 Civil War. It could go on for a fair few films.
Yeah.
It could go on right up until Infinity War. Like we don't know. Like there's a lot of war going on for them. But yeah, we don't know exactly how long it could be. So we could have 4 films potentially with Spider-Man in it, and he might not reveal himself in his own comic. It could be 4 films down the line.
Yeah.
It could still be done. So yeah, I think that's important.
It could be to a certain extent that maybe that's why Infinity War and Thanos becomes such an issue. Like that's why he ends up fighting, and like that's why it's such a 2-parter film as well, because they're so busy fighting each other they don't notice that Thanos is making this push for Earth.
Yeah.
And by the time he's got a foothold, they're like, crap, we've been too busy fighting each other. We didn't even realise, like, we would have picked up on this if we were talking to each other. Like, Tony Stark has a little bit of information, Captain America has a little bit of information. If they would just spoke to each other, they would have realised how big a deal this is. But they didn't. And then they have to, like, uneasy allies work together.
Yeah,
And
and then
that would be
maybe the Guardians of the Galaxy come down to unite them and all fight Thanos together.
Yeah.
Oh, fingers crossed.
and they all sing a hymn afterwards and like skip off into the sunset. Like, it'd be cool. Like even if Civil War does start and end on Civil War and that's it, done and dusted, it will still be cool. But I think Spider-Man, they never actually said he's going to play a huge role. They just said he may make a cameo or he might make an appearance. They've never actually said he's going to be a huge role in Civil War. But I think it would be silly if they didn't.
As I mentioned before, it was rumored that there were 2 scripts out there.
Yeah.
One with Black Panther in a heavy role, one with Black Panther in a lesser role, but with Spider-Man in the script as well. So it sounds like this has been at least on Disney's mind for a while. So I don't think he's going to seem like he was just chucked in. And Kevin Feige said as well, Spider-Man's already in this universe. He's just some kid, web swinging around New York at the moment. So there's definitely going to be no origin story. So we know that much for certain.
Yeah, I think they said like in his first film they might have like flashbacks to sort of just show like how he kind of got to that point.
Which is fine.
Kind of like they did in the Daredevil Netflix series.
Yeah, that was nicely done.
Yeah, but what's the point? I think I was just gonna like sort of like just recap or something I was about to say. But yeah, everything I've just said, words and stuff.
Alright, I feel like that about does it for film stuff, unless you had any more film things to talk about.
Oh, there was actually just that one, some news that dropped just recently that Daredevil has been confirmed season 2.
Oh, yeah.
Season 2 will come in 2016, I believe. I think it's coming out next year.
Sure, didn't really surprise anyone too much, but it's just good to hear, really, that we're definitely going to be getting it.
Well, I knew it was like really well received, but I knew they already had a plan in motion with like Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, the Defenders. Yeah. I knew they had a plan set in motion, so like I don't know how. Maybe are they just going to throw in another season, just some other stuff, or is it still going to build up to the eventual Daredevil's Defenders series? Like, I don't know. Like I've got full faith in them. It's not the same director though. I think it's somebody who worked with.
Really?
Yeah, he said like it's not the same director. These two worked closely in the creation of the first season of Daredevil, but due to like conflicting schedules, he can't come back for a season 2 because obviously it wasn't billed for a season 2 originally. So like the directors he's got, is it Drew Goddard? Was it?
Well, no, Drew Goddard was meant to do it. Then he left to do Sinister Six, and Stephen Knight, is it? Let me just fact check that real quick.
But either way, he said like he can't do season 2, but he has full faith in the people that are taking over because they worked really closely with him.
Yeah.
Doing Daredevil, so.
It's Stephen Knight. Sorry.
Knight.
So Drew Goddard dropped out to do Sinister Six. Then Stephen Knight came in, and I loved what he did as showrunner. Then obviously Sinister Six fell apart, and now Drew Goddard's doing this Spider-Man film because he's obviously the perfect guy to work between Marvel and Sony now.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a shame. I want to know who this new guy is that's coming on for season 2.
I can't remember where I read it. If I did, I'd put the link up. I can't remember where it is. But anywho, yeah, I just want to drop that in because obviously we spoke about Daredevil a hell of a lot last week, so I didn't want to go too much into that. But yeah, was there anything else you had on the agenda, Tomic? There was one other thing that I just wanted to mention. Not
film wise, but I know you've got something game wise that be cool to talk about.
Yeah, well that's basically it. Like you guys know, I'm a huge Mass Effect fan, and I've been speaking for a long time about like waiting for news on the new Mass Effect. You can tell I'm getting excited again. But basically, yeah. So news dropped recently. It was a leaked survey. Due to the basically like an internal survey on the next Mass Effect. Now, all of this is still rumor. It hasn't been confirmed. And it's never going to be confirmed because it's like leaked stuff. But the exact same thing happened last year with Dragon Age Inquisitions, and it turned out to be completely correct. So, and this is exactly the same, but just about Mass Effect. So far, a lot of people are saying, yeah, look, this looks like it could be true. And a lot of the information that they've already released, this ties in with perfectly. So, unless someone's done a really good job of making this up, it's still rumour, but a lot of people are believing it to be true. And basically what it was just a survey that just basically spoke about where the game's at right now. And none of it was spoilers in the sense of giving anything away. It was a description as if like it was the description on the back of a case of a game.
Yeah.
So it's just talking about like the plot, the narrative, basically like where it's set and who your character is. But it doesn't actually give away any of the story. It says about maybe a new race, like are there loyalty missions, are there squad mates, are there new species, can you customize vehicles? It basically just talks about that sort of stuff, but doesn't give anything really away. Like it explains the sort of stuff that would be revealed weeks or months before the launch date of the game. Stuff they would reveal to you before the game comes out. None of it's actual spoilers of the game. But yeah, for those of you who have been just as excited as I am to finally hear something about the next Mass Effect, I'll put a link in the description. I retweeted it ages ago, but I'll drop the link in the description to this video so you guys can check it out. And there's basically a very short, like bite-sized information that they've given you for you, just basically saying all the new stuff. And then if you scroll down, there's the actual original version that goes a lot more in depth about some stuff that's coming out. But yeah, it was very good to finally hear something, whether they meant to give it to us or not. It's great to finally find out what's happening, and you finally get to hear a little something about what your character's going to be and where he is, like with regards to the universe and what happened with Commander Shepard and the time and all that sort of stuff. So it's really good. But I'll put the link in the description.
It's exciting. It's exciting.
Yeah, exciting.
Just a second. The new showrunners are Doug Petrie, who did Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and Marco Ramirez, who is on a showrunner of Sons of Anarchy.
Oh,
so
cool. Both Buffy and Sons of Anarchy are very good. So
Buffy working heavily with Joss Whedon. So
yeah, exactly. So that's good stuff.
Pretty interesting.
But yeah, that was what I was going to say. I don't really want to go into start talking about Mass Effect, the next Mass Effect too much. But if you guys want to check it out, go on the link in the description. Check it all out. I think I might have mentioned it in the Captain's Quarters as well. So, but yeah, I can't go in to start talking about this because there is just so much information on here. So, but yeah, link will be in the description. Go check it out if you're a fan of Mass Effect and you're curious what's coming next. So,
right, is that about make it the end of the episode?
Yeah, I said anything really I want to say about. So,
I just remember, guys, the question for this week that we wanted to ask you guys. What was your favourite trailer of some of the trailers that we spoke about? I'll just go over them again quickly. There was Star Wars Battlefront trailer, the Phant 4-stick trailer, Tomorrowland, Jurassic World, Batman v Superman, Star Wars Rogue One, or the correct answer, Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens.
Cool, Tommy's not biased at all here. Phant 4-stick.
And Ant-Man. We spoke about Ant-Man as well.
Of course, yeah.
It's not on my list. But that would, okay. Yeah. To each their own.
Yeah, but as Tommy said, like, what was your favourite trailer? The trailer's been released recently. What was your favourite? And out of your favourites, what's the favourite moments? What was the bit you liked the most? But
how many times did you cry when you watched Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens trailer? And how many times did you rewatch it?
And how much does the Phant 4-stick title bug you? Yeah, but with that being said, is there anything else you wanted to mention at the end here, Tommy, before we wrap this up?
Check out Schmotunes and check out schmozno.com for some articles up there that I'll hopefully be putting up very soon.
Good stuff. And as I say, everything like that will all be in the description, unless I am completely inept, which I hopefully won't be. But if I am, if I've said I'm going to link something in the description and I haven't, have a go at me in the comments. Scream at me. Make sure I put that in. But hopefully, future Dave isn't completely incompetent. But with that being said, my name's Captain Dave.
And I'm Tommy.
I'll catch you guys later.